Hey guys, this is Satyajit Pattnaik and welcome back to my channel. Well, in this video, we are going to talk about a major skill that is Microsoft Excel. Now, this is one of the topics, one of the skill set that not only a data analyst needs, but also a data scientist, a data engineer, financial analyst, business analyst, and many other IT related engineers or IT related roles. So, Microsoft Excel is one of the most important skills and one of the underrated skills in the IT domain. Now, talking about Microsoft Excel, this video is going to be a one-stop solution for you in case you want to kickstart your journey in understanding what are the capabilities of Excel, what are the different data analysis tools that we can use in Excel, how to do dashboarding and various other things. Well, this video is going to cover each and everything from scratch. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe the channel and share this video with as much people as possible. Apart from that, if you want to become a data analyst, you can pretty much explore some of my playlists where most of the topics are already available on my channel, like Python, SQL, Power BI, etc. For those who are finding it difficult to learn everything from scratch in the data analytics domain on YouTube, then you can probably take my dedicated AI powered data analytics program that we have recently launched on Udemy, and the same course, which is almost like a 35 hours course, will be available to you at just $399. The coupon code will be in the description. Start enrolling and let's get back to business. Let's jump into the video and learn Microsoft Excel. See you in the video. Hi, welcome to Excel for Business Analytics, and this class is all about predefined functions. As we are getting started with Excel, we will be focusing on the basic functions in this particular class. And going forward, we'll be talking about some of the advanced functions as well. Now, what are these basic predefined functions? Now, the basic functions include minimum, maximum, average, round, left, right. All these are your basic predefined functions. So let's get started with this. For this particular exercise, I have chosen a data set which is churn modeling data set. This is one of the machine learning related data set where we have to classify between churn customers and active customers, but that's going to be a different topic. So we are not concerned about what exactly the data set is all about, but just assume it to be a telecom related data, and this is the data for various customers. Okay. Similarly, we'll start with the first function, which is going to be round function. Now, whatever function we have to do, whatever function we use in Excel, it all starts with equals to and then the function name. So let's say I'm going to implement a function called as round. So here I'm going to first start with equals to, and then I will start with my command, which is round. The moment I type R, you can see I'm already be able to see a lot of functions. Radians, rand between, rank average, lot of functions. In case you don't want to go through this course, you can still learn a lot about Excel. You just have to simply call these functions and try it out by yourself, and that's how you can learn. But anyways, we'll start with round function. I'll just double click on this. The moment I double clicked, you can see it is already showing me what should be the arguments which has to be passed inside this particular function. So round function expects two different arguments. One is your number and one is your number of digits. Let's say my number is 999.111, and then I want it to be rounded up to two decimals. So I'll do 2 and then I'll click on enter. You can see now the value is 999.1. If I want to pass 1 and then enter 999.1. Simple. Similarly, here I am passing a hard-coded number. Let's say instead of number, you want to pass a cell value. Let's say here I'm going to do a round operation. So let's say I will call it as round operation on balance. So I'll do round B. So, and then here I will round it equals to round off let's say balance, comma, 0. That means I want to have 0 decimal places. So I'll click on enter. Of course, 0 is rounded up to 0. And then I will just drag it. What I'm doing is I'm just selecting the cell. And once you hover your mouse towards this junction, you will be able to see a plus operator and just click on it and drag it. So once you drag it, you can see the value inside this cell is round of I3. Automatically, here we had done I2. I2 is the cell value here. I3 is the cell value here. So automatically it is identifying the next cell value and it is performing the operation. Similarly, if you want to do it for certain other records, you just have to hover around that particular cell, get the plus icon and then drag it. So in case you want to apply for the whole column, Control Shift End will basically select the entire panel, go to this fill operation and down. So all your values are updated with round function. So this is all about round function. Of course, I hope everybody understands that the first attribute is a number and the second one is number of digits. Moving on to the next one, which is square root. Again, I will apply square root on balance. So I will name it as square root of B, and then I will do simple equals to SQRT, enter, sorry, my bad, SQRT, and then double click, and then it's telling that square root of number. So let's say I want to pass 16. Of course, square root of 16 is 4. But we don't want to pass 16. Instead of that, we want to pass the cell value. So I will click on the cell value and then press enter. So my value are updated. Similarly, click on your cell, hover your mouse towards this corner plus and then drag it. So square root of 83807 is 289.496. If you want to validate, you can simply validate with your inbuilt calculator. 83807.86 square root will be 289.496. Simple. Similarly, if you want to apply a round operation on top of square root, very easy. Let's say I want to do round of R of Q. That means round of Q. I'll name it as RND of Q. Round of Q. That means round of Q column. It's simple. Round of Q. This is one way, or else, sorry, round of Q and let's say 0 decimals. This is one way. Another way is round, sorry, equals to round of square root of I2, sorry, I3, and then close brackets, and then 1 second. And then 0. Done. Both are same. You can see you call this or you call this. So what is Q3? Q3 is this, right? So I'm simply copy pasting this one, and here I'm just adding my Q3 value and comma 0. So this is how you do operation within an operation. Similarly, if we move on to the next one, which will be minimum and maximum. How to find minimum and maximum? So let's see. Let's say we don't know what is minimum and what is maximum. Basically, minimum, maximum, average, count, all these are done across the table. So they are called as aggregation functions. Similarly, what I will do is, let's say I will find the max balance. I will do min balance, and then I will do average balance. Okay, average balance. Just ignore the hash, but it's okay. So what will be my maximum balance? My maximum balance equals to max of number. So let's say I will pass the entire column and then close it. So the maximum value is 250,898.09. Similarly, if I do the minimum, so equals to min, click on this and then it is asking for a number. Instead of a number, I want to select the entire column. So click on your entire column, which is I:I, and then your minimum value is 0. What is my average balance? Average of I, and then the average is 7876485.88929. So these are your aggregation functions. That is the reason I'm applying for an entire bunch of records. Let's say you have values like 5, 10, 15, right? And you want to calculate the sum. Simple sum of, just drag it. The sum of this is 30. What will be the max value of this? Max of this will be 15. And what will be the min of this? Min of this, which is P11 colon P13, will be 5. What will be average? Average will be 10. Simple. These are all your predefined functions. Similarly, we will have rank, which is used to find the rank of a number in a list of numbers. Let's say I have these 3 numbers, so I will be using rank. So in order to do rank, I already have a function file here. So if I just drag, you can see rank of I4. That means here I4 basically is this value. So a rank operation is done on 2 attributes, on the value and the whole set of value. For example, rank of 10 comma this whole. That means what is the rank of 10 in this whole list? If I do, then the rank of 10 is 2. Let's say I want to do equals to rank of this comma this, rank is 3. Similarly, if I drag it, my rank of 10 will be 2, my rank of 15 will be 1 out of these 3 values. So rank accepts 2 arguments. One is your number and one is from which numbers are you calculating the rank. Similarly, if you find the rank here, rank, simple rank of, let's say this colon this, and then the rank is 6380, and it drag it. So this is how it is. So where is my rank 1? If I just do a filter operation here, filter rank 1. So this is my highest balance, right? So this is all about your basic predefined functions. Similarly, left and right. Left and right are also very similar functions, very easy functions to deal with. All the functions which you are using in Excel, you can simply call it here and then test it out. Let's say I don't need it now, and I don't need these columns as well. So let's say I'm going to perform left operation. Left returns the specified number of characters from the start of a text string. If I do this, let's say I want to do on hello 2. Sorry. Okay, so let's say I want to pass this value. So FE, that means the first 2 characters. Okay, similarly, what will be for male? Left of, let's say male, then 2. It will be MA, simple. Similarly, right is also for from the right side. So it's basically a substring function. So left, basically it is extracting characters from the left hand side, right basically from the right hand side. And the second attribute is basically asking for how many characters do you want to extract. Simple. And then length function. Length is also very similar and simple function. len of, let's say I want to find the length of this one. So the length of female is 6. FEMALE, 6 characters, right? So these are all your basic predefined functions. In the next video, we'll be jumping into the advanced functions as well. Thank you. Hi. In the previous video, we learned about the different predefined functions in Excel, the most basic functions like minimum, maximum, average, left, right, round functions, square root functions, etc., etc. And so far, I hope everybody knows that how to create a DAX function, or else how to use a DAX function. It's as simple as equals to, then your function name, then your bracket starts, arguments, and bracket close. And of course, I hope everybody knows so far that it's very, very easy to start learning with Excel, because Excel already gives you suggestions when you start writing your equals to and then start writing some of the letters. It will already give you the recommendation. Once you click on that, you will also see the recommendation on the arguments. So it makes our life easier, right? So in this video, we shall be learning about the different date time functions. Now, of course, there are lots and lots of date time functions, but we will be talking about 4 or 5 different functions in Excel. And these are all your DAX functions. Now, I would be using this term again and again. So just make a habit of learning, of listening this word. So these all functions are basically called as DAX functions, which is called as data analysis expression functions. Okay. Now, when it comes to date time, these are the most 4 or 5 different functions which we will be learning in this particular class. So the first one is date, as simple as creates a valid date from individual year, month, and day components. Now, just talking before talking about the rest of the date time functions, just wanted to make clear that whenever you start working on Excel or on Python or on SQL or on any kind of language in this world, the most complicated thing is to deal with the date time features or date. It's very difficult for a developer to understand and interpret a date time function. So pay attention. EO month, that means end of month. EO month returns the serial number for the last day of the month, that is indicated number of months before or after start date. For an example, you want what is the end of the month after 5 months from now. Now, of course, if you start calculating, this is October, November, December, January, Feb, March. So you know March 30. So that should be 30 days. So that should be 30th March 2022. Of course, that's a manual work, but in case you want to get that same feature in Excel, you can use EO month. Network days calculates the number of work days between two dates in Excel. For an example, I will pass January 1st and December 31st, 2021. That means 365 days. But how many of them are only work days? That means except your Saturdays and Sundays, how many work days do we have? You will easily be getting using network days. Similarly, your date 1 or your date 2 could be anything. You simply call your network days, pass your date 1 and date 2. It will tell you how many work days do you have. Very useful feature. And the next one is weekday. Sometimes we want to deal with weekdays as well, right? So it returns a number between 1 to 7 representing the day of the week. So let's get started with the practicals part. Again, I will be using the same Excel file as I have shown in the last class, which is my churn modeling file. And yeah, last class we also did all these predefined functions. So I have made a note of it in the same Excel file itself, and I will be walking you through this file throughout this particular course. And as a deliverable, I will be passing you this particular Excel file for your practice as well. Now you can see in the predefined, I already have some round function, square root function. In case you want to have a quick glance before your interviews, you can easily go through this particular file. Now, talking about date time, I already have mentioned all these things here, which makes our life easier. Now, today is one method where you have to call today and it will give you the today's date. So what is today's date? Sorry, today's date is 12th of October 2021. Okay, simply I'm just calling equals to today. Now, if you want to call it again today, you can see it returns the current date format as a date. If you click on this, it says that there should not be any argument. So if you close the bracket and press enter, you get today's date. That's how easy it is, right? Similarly, I also have another function called as date diff, that is date difference, which is now deprecated in Excel. But however, date diff function will also be part of Power BI. So when it comes to Power BI, you will learn this particular feature, which is date diff. That means date difference. So normally when we call this DAX function in Power BI, we usually call it this way: date diff, and then date 1, date 2, and what type of difference do you want? Do you want the difference in days, years, or month? And then you pass day, and then once you enter, you will get the difference in days. So let's say today is 12th October, and another date is, let's say, 10th November. If you want to find the difference in days, so it will find 10th November minus 12th October, which could be like 29 days or something. Your output will be 29. In case you want the difference in month, there will be 1 month. And similarly, this particular thing works, but it does not work in Excel. I'm not pretty sure if it will work in your Excel sheets or not, but at least for me, it's not working. But I know that this was a feature, but it's deprecated right now. So the next one is EO month, which I already explained, end of month. How to define EO month? Let's say EO month, you can already see it returns the serial number of the last day of the month before or after a specified number of months. Let's try to give EO month. I will pass the first date as today's date, today, and then I will give, let's say, -5. I'm not sure if it will work or not, and press enter. Today's date is 12th of October 2021, and I press enter. Oh, so this is not working. So -5 is not. Oh, it's because of the formatting. It's because of formatting. So I will just quickly format this, and you can see October, and I have done -5. So uh, it's very difficult to calculate backwards, but let's say May, June, July, August, September, October. So from October going 5 minus, so it's going to be May. Similarly, if I do +5, it should be next year, March. So end of March. And we already know March has 31 days. So EO month is returning 31st of March. So where to use these kind of functions? Of course, when you need it, you just keep it in your mind that there is a function like EO month, and you can easily use it. Coming back to network days, I had already explained what is network days. That means the difference in date 1 and date 2, and it will find the total working days. So here, let's say I have passed today's date, and I have passed today's date plus 30. Okay, so here it shows me that there are 23 working days. Simple. Let's say I want to pass something else. You want to pass 1st October till last October, you can also try it out. Weekdays, you can see I'm passing weekday of 3rd January 2021, and the output is 1. You can see 3rd January 2021. 3rd January is basically a Sunday. So for Sunday, you usually get 1, Monday 2, Tuesday 3, so Saturday is 7, right? So you can easily identify whether it is a weekend or not by just passing this weekdays values, and 1 and 7 will be your weekends. Let's say I want to pass 9th of October, which is a Saturday. So 9th of October, 9th of October, and then you can see 7. So Saturday is 7. So these are all your date time functions. Of course, there are lots and lots of other date time functions as well. Let's say we can check out other date time functions. Let's say I don't remember all of them. Simply start by typing in date. Well, I don't find much. Okay, year returns the year of a date. Let's say I want to pass the year, and I want to check what is, let's say I'm passing today's date, today's. So it should return me 2021, and here it is. Similarly, year function is also there. Year, sorry. year, and we also have similarly month and day as well, month and day as well. Let's say you want to pass month, returns the month a number, and then again I pass today's date, and then I get October. Let's say I want to pass today's date plus 10 days, and it's still October. Day equals to day. Again, today's date plus 1, let's say tomorrow's date. So which is going to be 13th of October. And these are all your datetime functions. I hope you understood about the datetime functions. Please practice as much as possible on various data sets, and because practice makes a man perfect. So that's it about the datetime functions. In the next class, we'll be teaching you some other advanced functions as well. Thank you. Hi. In the last class, we learned about the different datetime functions. And in this class, we will be talking about some of the text functions, or else people call it as string functions. Again, string functions are also very critical functions to understand, because these are some functions which we will be using on a daily basis. At least the people who are joining as a data analyst or as a business analyst would be working in Microsoft Excel as a tool. Definitely you need to learn about the text functions or the string functions. In this video, we shall be learning about each and everything, giving a small recap about the previous classes. I hope everybody is understood on the various concepts of predefined functions, the basic predefined functions like max, min, average, random, round functions, all these things. Some of the functions which are not taught in this particular course, you can also easily try out by yourself, because honestly speaking, there are lots and lots of DAX functions which is not possible for us to cover in this particular course, but we will be definitely giving you an idea about the most used functions. Okay, now in the last class also we have studied about the date time functions, right? Various attributes like today, date diff, EO month, all these things we have already covered. So today's video will be on string functions. Let's get started with it. Now, when it comes to string functions, I hope everybody knows about string. Now, string data type is basically your name, uh, or address, city, state. Any of these features basically takes the form of a string, right? Just giving you a brief idea about the various data types that we have. The various data types are integer, float, string, boolean, etc., etc. When it comes to SQL, I think everybody knows when we create a table, create table name, and let's say we pass employee name, and what is the data type of it? Variable character, varchar2 of some numbers, right? And varchar2 is nothing but a string object. Similarly, in terms of Excel, we will be learning about various string functions because we deal with a lot of string operations. So our first task is to find the location of a substring in a string. Let's say hello world, you want to find the location of world. Or else, let's say you have a very big line and you want to find the exact location of a particular word. That means exact index, right? And that is the reason you can use the function called as find. Replace replaces characters specified by location in a given text string with another text string. Of course, you know that when it comes to Excel, we can easily do Control F and then do replace and find and replace, right? But that does not work. Uh, that works for one or two cases, right? But that will not be a generic solution. So if you need a generic solution, you have to make use of data analysis expressions. Now, replace basically replaces characters. Substitute again is very similar to replace. It also replaces text in a given string by matching. Mid basically extracts a given number of characters from the middle of a supplied text string. Very similar to find as well. Replace as well. And search used to find the position of a character inside a text string. Apart from that, concat concat is basically concatenation. You have your first name, last name, you want to add it to make it a full name, you can easily use your string concatenation operation, which is called as concat. In some Excel versions, you might see concat is not existing, you might have to use concatenate. So concatenate or concat used to join two or more strings in one string. So mathematical functions will be taught in the next class. Now we will be jumping on to the practicals part. As we have already seen in the previous classes that I have already done the changes here, so that I don't want to waste more time writing codes in front of you. So first will be find. Find means finding the exact location of a specified character or a string. Let's say there is a word called as apple. Now apple, if I have to draw apple, I mean not draw, but if I have to write down apple. So normally what happens is, let's say apple. Okay. Now when it comes to Python, I'm not sure if you know Python or not, but I'll just explain you in brief. Normally indexing starts from 0. Okay. And if you define a string variable, let's say string 1 equals to apple, and if you pass string 1 of 0, it will return you a. This is how it works. So indexing starts from 0, but when it comes to Excel, indexing starts from 1. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As simple as that. Very simple. Okay. Similarly, jumping on to this particular piece of Excel sheet. Let's say I want to find apples. Where is A? So what I'm doing is I'm finding A. Let's say if I don't want to do, let's say I'm finding A in apple. Okay, I need to use double quotes, and I don't have double quotes in my keyboard, unfortunately. So what we can do is we will be not using the double quotes. Instead of that, I will be using I'm using this cell value, comma, this cell value. That means I want to find this in this. And if I press enter, you can see the location is 1. So A is at first location. P is at second location. How to get the third location, P? Well, if I pass P, it is returning me 2 because it is finding the first location of that P character and returning me. Simple. Let's say, will this work? This will also, PP will be 2 as well, because the PP is found at second value. First value is A and then is P. Similarly, let's say I want to find L. L is definitely at 4th location and it is 4th. E is at 5th location. This is all about your find function. And if you want to see what exactly is find, returns the starting position of one text string within another text string. Find is case sensitive. And if you run this, like if you click on this, you will see that it expects 2 arguments. One of them is find text and within text. Okay. So moving on to the next one, which is replace. What is replace? Let's say this is my string object, abc hyphen something hyphen something, and I want to replace 2017 with 2018, just in case. So first thing will be, you can see replace is basically replace part of a text string with a different text string. If I run this, what is my old text? Let's say this, comma, number of characters, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then new text, let's say I'm passing 2018. I run this, sorry. Okay, Here I have the double quotes. Good. Okay. Let's say I'm calling this one. Replace AB9, which is basically my, let's say, let me just write down this. Let's say ABC hyphen 2017 hyphen 001. So this is my first text. This is my, from which location do you want to change and what do you want to change, right? So old text, start number, number of characters, and new text. So four things I'm passing. This is my old text. This is location. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my fifth location and I want it for the next four characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So four characters will be changed with 2018. If I run this, you can see it's changed. And again, calling on an existing column is super simple. Replace of this, comma. Let's say I want 5, comma 4, comma 2018. Done. Replacement is done. So it expects four arguments. Again, from the interview's point of view, you don't have to learn all these things. If you remember what is replaced, that should be more than enough. And of course, in our day-to-day activities, we do use Google as well, right? So definitely you can take help of Google. But if you remember that, hey, I'm doing something like this, and I think I'm going to replace this text with that. So I think we should use replace command. So if you know that you want to use replace in this particular scenario, that should be more than enough. You don't have to memorize the exact formula of replace. Nobody will be asking you about the exact formula in the interviews. Coming back to substitute. Again, I have the same string, which is ABC. So this is something like a tag number, right? A product tag number, ABC 2017 something. And here what I'm doing is I'm calling substitute on what? On my old string, old text, then new text, and then instance number. So what is my old text? So here, so the only difference in replace and substitute is replace asks for from which location till which location do you need, and substitute is basically substituting, as simple as control and find and replace, right? So find 2017 and replace it with 2018, as simple as that. Run this and this is how it works. This is exactly like this control F feature. Control F, replace, find what? Let's say I want to find this and replace it with, or else let's say I'm finding 2017 and replace it with 2018. Replace something like this, right? I'll just do Control Z so that I'll revert back the changes. So this is the only difference between substitute and replace. Our next method is going to be mid. Again, mid is basically asking for, you can see text, start number, and number of characters. Okay, so text is basically my AB12, which is same ABC hyphen 2017 something something, comma start number, which number are you starting and which, how many characters. And then if you run this, it is basically extracting some texts. So this is as simple as if you want to find some particular, let's say this is a very big tag number and you want to find the year of manufacture, and you know that it is separated by hyphen, or you know the exact location, you can easily use a mid operation. Our next one will be search operation, which will be finding the location of 2017. You can see search is basically finding. Let's say I will just type in search, returns the number of the characters at which a specific character or a string. So if I run this, find text, find what? Let's say I want to find 2017. So again, I have to pass it within quotes, which I don't have in my on my keyboards. So I'm directly showing it. So search 2017 in this particular field, and it is returning me that, hey, 2017 is at fifth location. That means A, B, C hyphen 2. So fifth location, your 2017 is starting. Last but not the least, our last operation will be concatenation. Let's say you have hello and world and you want to concatenate text 1 which is hello and text 2 which is world and then close it. So hello world. Similarly, so very simple to use, hello world. Okay, concatenate string 1, string 2, simple. So this is all about text functions or string functions, and there are many more string functions as well, but these are the most important string functions. That's it for string functions. In the next class, we will be talking about some other advanced mathematical and statistical operations in Excel. And going forward, there are lots and lots of topics related to analysis and charts, graphs, and all those things. Thank you. Hi. In this video, we shall be learning about the various mathematical functions in Excel. Now, we already know that when it comes to data analysis, we have to deal with a lot of statistical functions. We need to know a lot of statistical concepts, like how to find standard deviation, how to find variance, how to find averages, mean, median. All these things are very much important. Similarly, we should also know a lot of mathematical functions, because we have to deal with a lot of mathematical and statistical concepts or functions in terms of data analysis. When it comes to Excel, using these functions are again very easy, because all these functions are already available as part of the data analysis expressions in Excel. Now, in this video, we will be talking about some of the mathematical functions. So we'll start with product. Product basically returns the product of numbers provided as arguments, which is as simple as if you want a dot product of 2 and 3, your output has to be 6, which is 2 multiplied with 3. Simple. Similarly, we also have modulus operator, which basically returns the remainder of two numbers. Let's say 10, 2. That means if 10 is divided by 2, what will be the remainder? Similarly, we also have square root function, which we have already studied in the predefined functions in the class 1, but we will also be covering that, because square root is nothing but another mathematical function. Similarly, we'll also check if we have cube root or not, and then fact, which is basically returns the factorial of a number. Everybody knows what is factorial. What is 2 factorial? It's 2. 3 factorial is 3 multiplied with 2, which is 6. 4 factorial is 4 multiplied with 3 multiplied with 2, which is 12. So, sorry, 4 multiplied with 3 multiplied with 2, which is 4 into 6, which is 24, not 12. My bad. And then round up operation, round down operation, some concepts like sum if and sum ifs. So let's get started. These are all the things which we will be studying in this particular class. Round up and round down, everybody knows that in case you want to round down, which means you want to get the floor value, round up is basically getting the ceiling value. We'll also cover floor and ceiling functions in Excel. And then sum ifs basically adds all of its arguments that meet multiple criteria. So quickly jumping into the Excel part, and then we will be learning various concepts. Let me just note down here that we must also learn about floor and ceiling. Simple. So we'll start with product. Product is nothing but dot product. Like if you have 5, 10, 15, 20, and you want a dot product. Product, you can see once I type in product, it says that it multiplies all the numbers given as arguments. If I do this and then do like this, it basically gives me a dot product of all these parameters. If you just want on two objects, you can simply pass this to this. My bad, because there are two brackets. So it becomes 50, which is 5 into 10, which is 50. Either you give a colon, which means from this value till this value, or else you give a comma, it should also return the same thing. Let's say you want to provide some hard coded values. Let's say 2 comma 3 comma 4, which basically is factorial, right? And this will give you 24. Similarly, how to find factorial using fact function? Simple, you have to call fact, which returns the factorial of a number equals to 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, something like that. And then if I pass, I need 4 factorial, which is 4 into 3 into 2, which is 24. So I have already done factorial here, which is fact of 4 is basically 24. Square root of 16. Simply, you have to call sqrt, which returns the square root of 16, which is basically 4. If you want to do it on another number, let's say 15, 3.872. If you add multiple functions, and if you want to make a complex function, let's say you want to round this to 2 decimals, you can simply do round of square root, and round expects 2 arguments like this, and it is 3.87. You can combine one DAX with another DAX easily, right? This is how simple Excel is. Now, moving on to the next one, which is modulus operation. Again, modulus is also very simple. Mod returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. If I just call mod of number, which number? Let's say I'm passing 100, and let's say my divisor is 2. So 100 is a perfect, like 2 multiplied with 50 is 100, right? So 100 is perfectly divisible by 2, which makes which leaves a remainder as 0. So if I run this, my output is 0. And if I run 101, my output has to be 1, right? Similarly, let's say I will run 103. So 3 into 33 is 99. Your output has to be 1. And here we go. So this is also one of the mathematical functions that we study in Excel. Now, these are some of the basic functions. Again, similar to product, there might be some division operation as well. No, we don't have. Sum operation is there. These are very basic things. Sum of 5 comma 10, which basically gives me 15, right? So I will just write down here some of the operations. Do we have a subtract operation? Or we don't have. So some we have, and let's move on to round ups. What is round up? Round up. So it's not round ups, it's round up. If I do round up and then I pass a number, let's say 99.19 comma 0, then it makes 100. That means I'm rounding up to 0 decimals. So my rounding up is 100. I will use the same figure for this one. I will make it as round down, and then it should return me 99. So again, on which scenarios you have to use round up and round down, it completely depends upon you. You are the developer, you are the analyst, you are doing your activities, you are analyzing the code, you are analyzing the feature or your use case. So you know which scenario what needs to be done. These are just some applications, just some available DAX functions. When and where to use is going to be your call. Now, moving on to the next operation, which is standard deviation and variance. I would say that standard deviation, sum is already mentioned here. Standard deviation and variance is a part of statistical functions. So I'll currently remove this, and I will cover that in the statistical part. Now, moving on to sum if and sum ifs. So in order to learn sum if, I will have to create a data. So let's say I have a column which is date. I have product name. I have its color. I have its region, and I have its value. These are all my records, right? And let's say I am going to build some information out of here. Like I'll create a table. Let's say I will pass 1/1/2021, to 2021. Let's say I will just copy paste this for some of the records and then and something like that. So 4 days data I have. Product name, let's say we'll give mouse. Let's say mouse, mouse pad, and let's say mouse pad. Color, will give some random colors: red, blue, green, red, red, blue, green. Simple. Region, let's say we'll give AP OR. So let's give AP Andhra Pradesh OR AP OR AP. Something like that. And values, will give random values: 50, 100, 50, 20, 30, 10, 100. Something like that. Now, if somebody asks you, can you find the total sum of value where the color is red? Simply, now if you have to find the total sum of this column, you can do simple sum operation, which is sum of all these values, which gives me 460. Now, if somebody asks you what will be the value where the color is red, that means there is a condition here. A conditional parameter will be here, or else a where clause when it comes to SQL codes. When you are dealing with SQL, that means you have a where clause, you have a filter. So in this case, you have to use sum if. So I will ask sum and sum if, and then we'll learn about sum ifs. Sum if, I don't know how to write a sum if command. So let's start and let's try to learn it from scratch. Sum if, it says adds the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. If I start my bracket, it asks a range, a criteria, and a sum range. So what is my range? Let's say I am giving my range as this. My criteria, like what should be my criteria? Let's say my criteria is red. And then on which column you want to find the sum? Let's say on this column. And then I close my bracket. And then I enter, and then my output is 200. So red. So what will be the value? 100 plus 50 plus 20 plus 30, which is 200. So my sum if is returning me 200, which is correct, right? My red are these areas. This is red, and these are all are red. So 100 plus 50 plus 20 plus 30, which is 200. I will repeat once again what is sum if. You can see it's very easy to call a function in Excel. Once you start writing it, it is already giving you a skeleton. It's asking your first has to be range. On which range you are going to apply the criteria? I'm going to apply on color. So I have provided all these values. Let's say all these values. Out of that, what is your criteria? That means I only want red. On which column you want to find the sum? This column. And then close it, and this becomes a 200. Simple. Similarly, if somebody asks you, can you tell me what will be the total value where the color is red and the region is OR? In that case, comes your sum ifs. So what is sum ifs? I will do sum ifs adds the cell specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. I'll have to do this, and then sum range. It's first asking for sum range. So I will give this sum range. Criteria range 1. So I will give this criteria range 1. Criteria 1, I want red. Criteria 2, let's say this one, and I will give it I need for OR, and then close brackets. I hope everybody understands. First is your sum of range. Let's say you are doing a range operation or sum operation on value column, and then first criteria, then which value do you want? Second criteria, which value do you want? If you have another criteria, you can add it. Let's say we'll do this. So this becomes 100. So red and OR, these are your OR values. So 50 plus 20 plus 30, which is 100. Now if you want to do red plus OR, and this is red, this is total. Okay. Now if you want to do red plus OR plus mouse. Okay, let's do this. So again, I have to do some ifs. Some ifs, some range. Let's say I want the range of this criteria, this, sorry, comma, red, comma, criteria 2, then OR, then criteria 3, let's say this, mouse, and then close, it becomes 70. And what is my mouse? These two records. These two records are my mouse. Simple. And this becomes 70, right? 50 plus 20. So these are some of the basic mathematical functions that we use on a daily basis. And similarly, like sum ifs, I think we also have average if and average ifs. Similar concept. Average if will also do the same thing. Let's say you want to find the average. Let's say you want average. Okay, let's do the same thing. I will just copy paste it here. Average, average if, average ifs, average ifs. Simple. And then here I will just change my values. In fact, I'll change everything. I'll change everything. So this is nothing but average of all these values. Simple. And then close it. My average is 57. Right. I will just give a color to this table so that we are not confused. Simple. Right. What is average if? I will do average if on range. Which range? My color range. Criteria, I will give red, and average range, I want this. So what will be the average? 50. So my average value is 50. Sum if, it is 200 because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 records, right? You can see how many red records? 4 red records, right? And 4 red records, total sum is 200. The average will be 200 by 4, which is 50. Simple. Similarly, you have to also calculate for the average ifs. It's going to be exactly the same. So I'm just copy pasting it. Instead of sum, I will do average ifs and then run this. And similarly, I will also do it for mouse, and then mouse, done. And this is my average. Simple. You can see for red or mouse. So red are these 4. Or is basically this and this. So or is basically this, and mouse. So these two. So these two are your final records, right? These two are your final records. And for these two, if your sum if is 70, what will be the average if? It's going to be 35, 70 by 2. So these are some of the basic mathematical operations which we deal with in terms of Excel. In the future classes, we'll be learning about more statistical functions and some other advanced DAX functions as well. That's it for the mathematical part. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we shall be learning about the different lookup functions. Just giving you a small recap on the previous classes, we have already learned the basic string functions, various mathematical functions, and various predefined functions as well. Apart from that, we have also learned datetime functions. In this particular class, we will be learning about the different lookup functions. Now, when it comes to lookup functions, there are 2 types of major lookup functions. One is ℏlookup and one is 𝐕lookup. ℏlookup and 𝐕lookup functions in Microsoft Excel allows you to use a section of your spreadsheet as a lookup table. Let's say you are dealing with a huge data or else multiple columns and multiple rows. And let's say you want to do some lookup column. Let's say you want to find the total value for a particular column where the column value is X, something like that. So for a particular column value, you want to find its uh, next column value. For an example, if you have, let's say, name, we'll talk about customer details. Let's say we have name, gender, location, and total salary. If you want to find the total salary for Mr. X or else Mr. Y, so you want to look up that table and then find the values, right? So when the VLOOKUP function is called, Excel searches for a lookup value in the leftmost column of a section of your spreadsheet called the table array. So there is a table array through which all the values are looked up. The function returns another value in the same row defined by the column index number. HLOOKUP is very similar to VLOOKUP, but it searches a row instead of a column. And the result is offset by a row index number. The V in the VLOOKUP stands for vertical search and H is basically horizontal search. So of course, we will take help of an example to understand more about VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions. Apart from that, we will also be learning about these functions in this one. HLOOKUP, of course, we will be learning that, which makes Excel search for a certain value in a row, the so-called table array, and it is used in this format equals to HLOOKUP something range something something. We'll be learning in details about all these things. VLOOKUP, similar concept. We will also be learning VLOOKUP. Match and index. These are also considered as one of the lookup functions. Match is basically used to locate the position of a lookup table or a lookup value in a row, column, or table. An index returns the value at a given location in a range or array. Enough of the theoretical part. Let's jump into the practical part. I will have the same file for you, which I explained in the previous classes as well. I'm using the same file again and again so that as part of deliverable, I will be passing you the same file. So it has multiple, everything has been taught in the previous classes, and today we will be learning about lookup functions. So this is a general table which we have. If I zoom in, I have number, I have description, I have type, and I have price in INR. Now, let's say if somebody asks you, can we find the total price for Razer? Or can we find the price of Microsoft? Something like that. That means given this value which is Razer, I want to do a lookup on this particular table. Look up on this table and find price in INR. Okay, so we will quickly start with writing VLOOKUP, and we'll also try to learn about HLOOKUP. Let's write it down here. HLOOKUP. Simple. So VLOOKUP, let's do VLOOKUP for Razer. For Razer. So I will start with same. DAX functions always starts with equals to, and then we'll start with the keyword, which is V, L, and the moment we start writing in, we already get a suggestion about, hey, are you looking out for VLOOKUP? And this is how it is. So VLOOKUP is looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. Simple. So I will be calling VLOOKUP. I don't know how to use VLOOKUP. Let's try to understand if Excel will be able to help me out in this or not. Upon clicking on VLOOKUP, the first argument is lookup value. What is my lookup value? It's Razer. So I will pass Razer, comma, table array. What is my table array? That means when you are doing when you are doing VLOOKUP, you should always start with This is VLOOKUP. Yeah. So you should always start with, let's say you have multiple columns like A, B, C, T. And if you are doing a VLOOKUP on an item in B, your table array should start from B, C, D. A is ignored. We cannot go back. We should always go in the forward direction. So I will select entire table as my table array, comma, what is my column index? Which column? 1, 2, 3. First column is description, second is type, third is price. So I will give my column index as 3 and the range lookup. This is something very important. My range lookup, I will keep it as 0. And then and here you go. You have it for Razor. Similarly, I will also find for Microsoft. I'll just copy paste this code, Microsoft. Same, I will just copy paste this code, and instead of C10, I will be doing C11. Simple. And then run this. And here we go. I'm getting the value as 95,000. Similarly, we'll also do it for other parameters. Let's say we want to do it for Apple. Let's say we'll do it for Kodak. Kodak, again, same. VLOOKUP. Done. Lookup value Kodak. Table array will be the entire table. Column index is 3, and then I will give 0, which completes my formula, and then I get 60,000. Very simple to use. Looks complicated. Lookup functions are something which every developer is scared of. When you ask, can you tell me about lookup functions? You will see a question mark on their face. But trust me, lookup functions are very, very easy to deal with. So once you learn about these functions, our next topic is going to be learning about the horizontal lookup. So I already have a lookup sheet where I'm explaining everything, but I think this is more easy for us to understand. Now, how did I get this table? It's very simple. What I'm doing here is, I'll just zoom out. What I am doing here is I'm just copy pasting this code. Let's say here, after copy pasting, I'm doing a transpose operation. So what if your data is in this format? So I'm just doing a transpose. So I'll just revert it back. So I have already done a transpose here. And if we want to do a lookup for a table like this, where it's just a transpose data. And if you see data like this, you always have to use 𝐓𝐢𝐿OOKUP, which is horizontal lookup. Horizontally you are going, right? Now, horizontally, you want the value for Razor. Where is the value? 90,000. Horizontally. Vertically is this, right? Similarly, I will do the same table for Razor. Let's say equals to 𝐓𝐢𝐿OOKUP. Again, looks for a value in the top row of a table or array of values and return the value in the same column from a row you specify. 𝐓𝐿OOKUP, lookup value, let's say I will pass Razor, comma, table array, again the entire table, comma, row index number 1, 2, 3, third row, and comma 0, enter. This becomes 90,000. Similarly, I will do it for Microsoft and Kodak. Instead of L6, I will give it as M6 and then close it, becomes 95. Similarly, I will do it for, instead of M6, I will give it as P6 and then 6,000. So this is how you deal with your VLOOKUP and 𝐓𝐿OOKUP. Very simple. It just needs practice. That's it. So practice, create some data sets or else use some existing data sets. Try to practice more and more on the lookup functions and you will definitely be on a very good stage. Now, our next topic is match and index. So match. What is match? You can see I have created a table here, apple, bat, and cat. Some values here. Let's say this is your name and this is your value. And this is how a table looks like. And then your headers, something like that. And then you want to match this one with some of these values in this table. That means this is your input. The small apple is your input. You want to do a lookup on this table and find the location, right? If there is a match or not. So here you can see I'm passing G12, which is G12 is basically this, comma, this is my lookup table, which is my G8 till G10, and then I'm pressing enter, I'm getting the match. Similarly, I will see a match for BAT. Let's say I will do it here. Let's say I will do it here for this one. G12, and this one will be okay. Similarly, I'll copy paste it here, G13, and yeah, and this one will be same. So it's found in the second location, right? There is a match found in the second location. So let's say we'll do it for at. I don't know if that is correct or not. So what I'll do is I'll just copy paste this code, and instead of G13, I will pass G14. So there is no match, right? Which basically says that there is no match. What is index? You can see index of lookup mock data. That means this is what my lookup mock data means. And if you are passing index, what is index? Basically, index returns the value at a given location in a range or array. What is the index? When I'm passing E15, E5 to E15. So E5 till E15, and I'm passing the index 8, and the value is basically 125,000, this one. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Simple. So I'm passing this particular table, and then I'm passing, I want the 8th location. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So my output is 125,000. Index of lookup data, and then the index. So let's say I want to find the index of, let's say this one, comma 2. Run this, it will be BAT, right? So this is how your lookup functions are. VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index, match. Apart from that, there will be some other functions as well, but I think these are something which are basics and very much required, at least for the data analyst and the business analysts who are dealing with Microsoft Excel as a tool for data analysis, right? That's it for this particular topic, which is lookup functions. In the next videos, we'll be talking about few more advanced topics. Thank you. Hi. So far, we have made a very good progress with respect to the different functions, with respect to different DAX functions, data analysis expression functions. In this video, we will be learning about some of the logical and error functions. I hope everybody has a very good basic understanding on the various mathematical, date time, string functions, and various basic predefined functions. In this video, we'll be learning about the logical and error functions. What are logical functions? Before explaining what are logical functions, I will like to explain something about the logical operators. I hope everybody knows about and, or, all these functions, right? Basically, true and true is true. True or false is basically true, right? And an or operator, so everybody knows about it. Now, how can we utilize, how can we use it in Excel? How can we implement that in Excel? Well, there are some existing keywords or existing functions in Excel which you can easily use in order to learn your logical function, in order to implement your logical functions. After we learn through the logical functions, we'll also learn about some of the conditional functions like if else blocks, and then we'll learn about error functions. Now, when it comes to logical, there are majorly 3 logical functions: and, or, not. There are also XOR functions, but in this session, we will be only learning about the basics. And is used to require more than one condition at the same time. This and that. If both are true, then it will be true. I hope everybody knows about these concepts. If one of them is false, and operator is going to return you false, right? Or is a logical function to test multiple conditions at the same time. If both are true, your final outcome is true. If either one of them is true, your final outcome is still true. But if both the statements are false, your OR output will be false. Not the function helps check if one value is not equals to other. These are the basic logical functions. We'll also be learning about if else blocks in this particular video. We'll try to implement if else blocks and try to create some derived columns. For an example, well, one example is age. Let's say you are dealing with customers data. You have multiple customers and multiple customers has different age groups. Not age groups, they have different age numbers. Some is 21 years old, some is 25, 30, 31, 35. So it's a continuous number. It's a numerical variable. And it's very difficult for you to analyze like what is the pattern of age versus, let's say you are analyzing something. If you want to analyze what is the distribution of people based on their age, it's very difficult because ages can lie between 0 to 100, right? There could be like 100 numbers and it's very difficult to analyze such values. So what we do is we create a new column. Let's say we want to do some age bins. Let's say 0 to 10 is one category, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and 30 plus, for an example. That means you're converting a numerical variable into a categorical variable. So in that case, you can definitely use if else blocks to derive a metric, to derive a column out of an existing column. We'll also be learning that. Apart from that, we'll also learn some of the error functions. Now, what are error functions? Now, it's very difficult for me to show you all the types of errors, but there could be n number of instances where you might see these error functions like hash value, hash ref, hash div by 0, hash num, hash name. All these are different error functions, right? So how to deal with error functions we'll also try to see in this video. So jumping on to the practicals. So similarly, I have one sheet for logical functions, another sheet for error functions. Okay, now moving on to logical functions. Let's say I was talking about this example, right? I have different age values. Let's say I want to create few more columns, and let's say 81, 12, 87, 16, 12. You can see by the time I'm filling something, my age bins are also getting populated. How? Because I have already created a if clause for that. Now, you can see the if clause is very simple. If I analyze this, if clause is going to be very simple. It's nothing but if my L3, that means this column, is greater than equals to 80. If this is greater than equals to 80, then mark it as above 80 or else mark it as under 80. This is a very simple if else block. And I have implemented it. So if it is above 80, it will show you above 80. Like in this case, it is showing you above 80. And all other cases are under 80, right? If you want to take one step ahead and you want to make it more complicated, that means if, let's say you want to build some logic like this, if it is greater than 80, then make it as above 80. If it is 61 to 80, make it as 61 to 80. If it is 41 to 60, make it as 41 to 60. If it is less than 40 or less than 41 or less than 40, less than equals to 40, then below 40. Let's try to implement this logic using if else blocks. So I will just try to solve it using Notepad and then I will copy paste the same in Excel. First, if greater than equals to 80, then above 80, else this, right? So in this else block, I will be changing this else block into another if block. So if greater than 80, then this. If not, else if this is greater than equals to 60, above, like this will be 61 to 80. Let's say greater than equals to 61. Okay. And then under, this will be under 60, right? Under 60 or under 61. Same, I will copy paste it here another time. So if this If it is greater than equals to 80, above 80. If not, if it is greater than equals to 61, 61 to 81. If not, it is greater than equals to 41, then 41 to 60, or else under 40, something like that, right? Now, if I implement this, I will simply copy paste this, done, under 40. Now, if you want to apply the same for all, done. You can see this is under 40, this is under 40, this is under, this is 61 to 80, under 40, under 40. And this is how I have implemented a complex if else block. Very simple. So this is how it works. This is how a normally a if else block works, right? If else, if you want to do a complex if else, it will be if, else if this, else if this, else this. So if while iterating through this block, if the first statement is true, it will do that. Else if it will do this, else if it will do this, else it will do this, right? That's what it is doing here. If my age is greater than 80, then above 80. If not, if it is greater than 61, then 61 to 80. If not, if it is greater than 41, 41 to 60, else it is under 40, right? Very simple concept. Now, moving on to our logical functions. So I have this field which is name and marks. My result is pass or fail based on a if else block. Simple. What I'm doing here is if my C6, that is this particular field, this C6 is this one. If this is less than 35, then fail, else pass. Simple. And then if you just use this for the entire group of people, it says it is fail or pass. Simple. Now, simply I also have another table. Name is basically the student's name, A, B, C, D, E, F. I don't want to give a concrete student's name, so I've given A, B, C, D, E, F. These are students' science marks. These are students' math marks. Now, first we will analyze the OR function. Now, OR means if either of the subjects is getting less than something, some value, then it is fail, right? So what is OR operation? Let me just repeat it. OR basically is if A is true and B is true and B is true, output is true. Simple. If A is false, B is true, this is true. If A is true, B is false, then it is true. And then if A, B both are false, then it is false. Simple. So here what I have done is OR this less than 35 and this less than 35, then it is giving me false. Similarly, here also it is giving me false. Here it is giving me true. That means in one of the subjects, this is failing, right? Similarly, you can do the activity for AND. And then here also I have done for result. If E17, that means if this is false, then you mark it as pass, mark it as fail, or else mark it as pass. So these are some of the and or operations which you can easily do in Excel sheets. Very easy to do. It's nothing fancy. It's just like you are passing two attributes. That's it. Let's say you want to pass or of logical A. Let's say I will give one, let's say true and true. This is basically true. Let's say I will give false and true. This is basically true, right? False and false will be false. So everybody knows about the concept. It's just that you have to apply it or give two conditions. If either of them is true, then it will return you true, else it will return you false. Simple. Now, moving on to error functions. Error functions, again, as I told you that it is very difficult for somebody to show you different scenarios of error. So I could generate few of the error types, and this is how the error functions looks like. Let's say you are dividing 10 divided by 0. So it gives you a division error, right? So if you know this particular thing, you will be able to understand that this is nothing but the formula or function used is dividing by 0 or empty cells. Similarly, this one is also same, division by 0. Here I'm passing 10 divided by P2, and P2 does not exist. P2 is blank. So by default, it is taking the value as 0. So if you hover around, it is telling you that the formula or function used is dividing by 0 or empty cells. Hashtag name. What is this? I'm using a function which does not exist. Average. I have used AVERAG. There is no E. So this is not a right method. Now, if you hover around, the formula contains unrecognized text. So you are using a function which is not a built-in Excel tax function. So it is throwing an error. Reference is basically you are referencing to some cell which does not exist, or else there is some number mismatch problem. So moving or deleting cells caused an invalid cell reference or function is returning reference error. NA. Sometimes you also get NA. NA is basically a value is not available to the formula or function. So these are some of the basic error functions which a data analyst or a business analyst could come across while doing some analysis activities using Excel. I hope everybody is clear with the logical functions and error functions. It's very simple to use. If you want to see, there are also XOR operations. So I don't want to explain you what are different Boolean operators, what are the different OR and XOR, all these things. I don't want to explain those things because these are very basic steps. If you don't know, probably go ahead and learn from Google. And once you learn the concepts, then how to do it in Excel, here it is how to do it. You just have to call equals to your function, and you already know what should be your internal attribute. Logical function, let's say true, true, and it gives you a XOR function which is false. Not. What is not? Not of true. It will be false. Right? Not is basically negation of something. Not of false is basically false. Sorry, not of false is true. Right? So these are all your logical functions and error functions. In the next class, we will be learning about some of the statistical functions. I hope everybody learned about the mathematical functions. Next class, it's going to be more fun. It's going to be statistical functions. And that's going to be very important because data analysis is all about statistical analysis, right? And data science is nothing but statistics. So let's wait for the next class. Thank you. Hi, welcome to this episode on statistical functions in Excel. We will be learning how to use various statistical functions such as standard deviation, mean, median, mode, variance, a lot of statistical terms in Excel. So let's get started. Now, in the previous classes, we have already seen how to work with mathematical functions, how to work with logical functions, text functions, datetime functions, and I hope everybody knows at least 50 DAX functions so far, right? Now, in this video, we shall be talking about various statistical functions. Why are we talking about these things? This is one of the most important class so far because Microsoft Excel, of course, that's what our topic is all about. But in this class, we will be talking about the statistical functions. We as a data analyst or business analyst should be aware of these statistical functions because ultimately we are going to work on data. When it comes to data, we have to deal with data and we have to understand which type of data are we dealing with, whether it is a categorical data or numerical data, whether to know the statistical information of various columns, we might have to know about the various statistical functions, right? So in this particular video, we'll be talking about, again, some of the basic functions. So we'll start with count. Now count is nothing but to get the number of entries in a number field that is in a range or array of numbers. For an example, you want to find the total count of customers, or else total count of customers who stays in a particular location. Count with a filter. Again, count A, which returns the count of cells that contain numbers, text, logical values, error values. Count A does not count empty cells. Count blank basically returns a count of empty cells in a row. Now, why do we use count blank? Just imagine you are dealing with a data where you want to do some null value imputation. You want to fill those null values which you have in the data. For an example, you have 1,000 records, and out of 1,000 records, 10 records doesn't have any values. First of all, we need to identify which are those cells where I don't have any values, right? Once we identify that, then we have to take some strategies, whether we apply the mean, whether we apply the median, or we apply the mode, right? All these things, how and what to use in which scenario. Of course, you have to learn about EDA, exploration of data, which you might have gone through different courses into Python, into data analytics or EDA. I believe you have already done your homework and you are currently learning Excel. So what I assume is that you already know the basics of EDA, how to deal with exploration of data, right? Once you know those things, we can actually jump into Excel and jump into this particular class. Count blank will give you an idea that, hey, out of these 1,000 records, you have 50 null values. And then you can strategize. Okay, 50 null values means basically we have 5% of null values. Do we do a mean value imputation or median value? And then you can take a strategy, take a decision, right? So count blank basically returns a count of empty cells in a particular range. Count ifs counts the number of cells in a range that match one supplied criteria. Similarly, moving on to the next slide, here we will be talking about various functions like mean, median, mode, correlation, standard deviation, variance. Now, formatting is our next topic, so let's not move ahead on that direction. So again, these are various statistical functions. Mean. What is mean? Mean is simply, let's say you have different numbers like this, like this. Your mean is nothing but average, which is 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus 20 plus 10 divided by 5, divided by 5. Yes. 5 plus 10, 15 plus 15, 30, 30 plus 20, 50 plus 10, 60 by 5 is basically 12. So the average is 12. What is mode and what is median? Median is basically the center value. What you need to do is you need to sort the records, let's say 5, 10, 10, 15, 20. What is the middle value? The middle value is 10. So in this case, the median will be 10. What is mode? Here the mode will be 10. Basically, mode is used for categorical variables, right? Let's say you have a column like gender, male, male, female, 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 null, female, right? Something like that you have. How do you impute your null values and categorical features? You might have to calculate the mode. So mode basically is nothing but voting. Whichever value is having the maximum, let's say male has 2 records and female has 4 records, so your mode becomes female. So you can impute your null values as female, right? All these things are basics of exploration of data. Similarly, we also have correlation, CORREL. What is correlation? Correlation is simply if you want to find the statistical relationship between two numerical attributes. Let's say you have weight and you have height. And then you are analyzing height versus weight. This is your height and this is your weight. And then you analyze that these are your data points. So you analyze that when your height is increasing, your weight is also increasing, which means the correlation value will be somewhere near to 1, or else at least greater than 0, which basically means that weight and height are positively correlated. In case your data points are like this, which basically tells you that when the height is increasing, the weight is decreasing. So your correlation is nearly equivalent to 1, -1, or at least less than 0. Then you can say they are negatively correlated. And when the data points are random in nature, that means you don't have a pattern. Height increases, weight decreases. At some point of time, height decreases, weight increases. No relationship. So in those cases, when there is no statistical relationship between two numerical columns, then your correlation value is somewhere near to 0. Not exactly 0, but somewhere near to 0, right? So these kind of concepts, you might have to use your correlation function. And standard deviation and variance, these are also very basic concepts. If you don't know, probably go ahead and learn from the business statistics class. So moving on to our file, statistical information. Let's say I have the same file, right? Same sort of file, row number, customer, surname, blah, blah, blah. And then I want to find the total number of records. Of course, this is a very small piece of records. I just have 20 records. I'm not taking the entire data, just want to demonstrate some examples. So I have taken just 20 records. Here you can see I'm doing count. So I will just type in and show you equals to COUNT, and you already get count, which says counts the number of cells in a range that contains number. Count of what? Count of my A, and then close brackets, enter, it gives me a number 20. That means 20 records you have 20 records from 1 to 20, assuming that this is your header file, right? Similarly, count A. Count A, what is count A? Count A does not care about your headers, counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So how many not empty records here? 1 till 20, 20 records, and row number, 21 records. So if I do A, 21. Simple. Count blank. On which column? Okay. Let's say I have null values, and here I have 25 and here I have 26, something like that. Now let's say I want to pass from A3 till A, let's say I will do count blank of A3 till A27. How many count blanks? 3 count blanks. 1, 2, 3. Simple. Count blanks will basically tell you how many blank data do you have, how many null values do you have. Similarly, count if. Now, count ifs basically is, if you just type in, you will get to know count if. So here I'm using count if s. Okay, so count if s is basically counts the number of cells specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. Count if and count ifs very similar to each other. In count if, there is one if clause, one filter, multiple filters, count if s. Similar to some ifs and some ifs, right? Average if and average ifs. Similarly, count ifs asks you for criteria range and then criterias. So I will just show you count if from A greater than 15 from E, Spain. So how many records do we have? 2 records. That means greater than 15 are these records, right? These are my 5 records that we have. And what is the second condition? Spain. So out of these 5, how many are Spain? Only 2 are Spain. The yellow portions are Spain. So my count if s is returning me 2. If I just remove this part, then it becomes 7. Right? So it's taking A colon A. So let me just delete these values. I don't need it. So my count if s is 5. Simple. That means these 5, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, if I simply do another criteria, let's say gender colon, female. How many females do we have in the last 5 records? 2 females. If I press enter, sorry, my bad, there is a, oh, okay, F colon F, yeah, 2, right? That means from my F, column, I am just using a criteria called as female. So out of these 5 records, how many are female? 2 females, number 18 and number 20. So my count if s is returning me 2. Count if, I already showed you that it's a single check, right? Single if clause, count if. Multiple if clauses, count if s. Mean, how to calculate mean? Mean is simply average of something. Let's say you have multiple values, 5, 10, 15, 20, 10. What will be mean? Mean will be average of this list, and this will be 12. What will be median? Median of this list, it has to be 10. Mode is not a right word here. Let's say I use female, male, and then I will use mode of, and this returns me, oh, why it is returning me? Okay, let's try to see. Mode is basically returns a vertical array of the most. Okay, let's try to do mode of single, and then, so mode is not working as expected in Excel, but I'm pretty much sure when it comes to Python, the mode of this particular 5 records will be female. So here, I think there is no operation like mode in Excel, or there might be. Okay, let's do this way. As we'll give some numbers. Okay, that means we are doing some encoding techniques. I'm giving female as 1 and male as 0, or else male as 2. Okay, and then I will do mode of this list, and it should return me 1. You can see, so mode is working for numbers but not working for categorical variables, which is a little bit weird, but it's okay. So normally when it comes to data science or statistics, right, when you are feeding your data to the computers, they don't understand categorical variable data, right? So we need to encode it first. So I have encoded female as 1 and male as 2, and now my mode is 1. That means the highest occurrences is by female, and my mode is 1. Simple? Not that simple, but it's okay. And rest, standard deviation, is basically, I'm calling the standard deviation on my I column on my balance. Variance again is variance of P of I, and this is my variance, right? Standard deviation dot s. So standard deviation is not dot s is for sample, and this is for population. Again, another concept which might confuse you, but again, you have to study statistics for this one. Normally what happens is, when we as a data analyst or data scientist work on multiple data, when it comes to population data, we usually have n in the denominator, right? And when it comes to sample data, it is always n minus 1. So why? You will have to probably go through business statistics course or some other materials where you can find it out. But this is the normal difference, is that when you have a population data, let's say 100 records, then you should always calculate your variance or standard deviation where your denominator will be n, that will be full 100. But when you are dealing with a population with a sample data, let's say 5 samples out of 100, then it is divided by 4. That's how the formulas are. Why is little bit tricky to explain, and it's not the right course for you to explain the concepts, but this is how it is. Okay, in case You want to get through all of this, just simply search on the web why population is n and why sample is n minus 1. You will get some stories and where you can take some ideas and understand why they are called so. So this is all about the various statistical functions. Apart from that, I don't think we do have any other functions. I think that's it. That's it for the statistical part. In the next videos, we'll be talking about some other advanced topics as well. Thank you. Hi. Can we use images as part of an Excel cell? Of course, it is possible, and it is one of the easiest way to deal with. In this video, we will be learning about how to deal with images in Excel. So let's get started. For this exercise, I have created this sheet, which is images in Excel, and I will be using some random examples. Let's say I will have a company and logo, and let's say we'll have another column, and let's say sales, company logo and sales. And I will just increase the font size to 20, make it big. That's it. And then I start adding names: Netflix, Amazon, Google, and Apple. Let's say 4 companies. And then I will, like this, simple. I'll create a table. I will do some formatting. Let's say like this and like this. Okay, let it be. Let it be like this. For logo, I will keep it as, okay, let it be. No problem. So Netflix, and let's say I'll give sales as 14 million. Let's say 12 million. I'm not pretty sure about the numbers. I'm just giving random numbers, and 21 million. Okay, something like that. I'll quickly format it to 1000 spaces. Simple. Done. That's my sales. Now, in logo, I will just quickly increase a little bit width, sorry, the height. And in the logo, I will be using some images. Okay. First step is to insert images for sure. In case you have your images in your local machine, you can simply go to insert, go to pictures, and then click your picture. But as I don't have the pictures on my local machine, I'm going to take help of Google Images, and then I will just type in Netflix logo. I already had done some search. That was the reason I got it. That was the reason I got the results very quickly. Now let's say I'm going to, okay, something like this. I'll just format it to this and then place it. Simple. Similarly for Amazon, I will do Amazon logo. Then I got this, copy. Okay, my bad. And then you can easily resize it as well, but I'm not resizing it. I am just doing the manual approach. And then once this is done, I will place it in the cell. Simple. Now I'll similarly do it for Google as well. Google logo. And then for Apple. For Google logo, I will use this one, and then I will do Apple. Google, and then I will do it for Apple. Let's take some, we don't have Apple transparent logo. Okay. We'll use this one. Copy and paste it. Oh, this is not a transparent logo. Let's say this one. No, these are not transparent logos. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's delete it. We'll not be using this. So we are having three companies, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, and we have kept the images. Now, one thing is that can we let's try to see how it works if I'm filtering it, if I'm sorting it. So if I sort it, let's say I will just first create a filter. Simple. Now, let's say I will sort it. Sort my company based on A to Z. So while sorting, it's working fine, right? Netflix has 14, Amazon has 12. So the values are also sorted and the logos are also sorted. I will do it again. A to Z is working fine. Z to A is also working fine. So my sorting operation is working perfectly fine. Now, what about the filtering? Let's say I will do this and just filter out Amazon. It's not working. Why? Because we have to do a minor change. Click on your image, right click, format picture. Now, once you go to this format picture panel, you just simply have to go to this size area and then go to properties, and then you can see there are two options here: move but don't size with cells, and move and size with cells. So we have to do it move and size with cells. Simple. Do the same for Google, do the same for Amazon, and then close the window. Now save it. Now test your functionalities using sort. Oh, sorting is not working right now. Okay, because my this has come beyond the cell value. I'll again go to this one. Okay, everything is fine. Now I will try to filter out. I will try to filter out Amazon, working fine. Google, working fine. Netflix, working fine. We'll try to do for multiple selections, Google and Netflix, and then sorting. No, everything is working fine. Now this is how simple to use images in Excel, because there can be scenarios where you are creating some reports for your companies. You might be having some logos or some sort of symbols. Let's you are dealing with multiple products like televisions, mouse pads. You might have to use icons as well, right? And this is how you can use, because icons are ultimately images, right? It could be a PNG image, it could be a JPG, JPEG, it could be a BMEP, whatever extension it is, doesn't really matter, but ultimately it's a image, right? And this is how you have to deal with it. You just have to click on your images, sorry, right click on your images, and then go to format picture, and you will be able to see a lot of options here. Let's say you want to do some activities like this, filling, gradient filling, all these things are possible. Let's say you want to do some reflection, transparency, all these things are possible. Okay, multiple options are there, formatting options, and you can easily see, and you can easily find out which one should you use, right? So this is all about images in Excel. I hope you understood the basics of it, and I hope you can manage how to work with images right now. Super simple, right? And then that's it for this class. We will be talking about some advanced topics in the next classes. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the class on formatting options in Microsoft Excel. Of course, there are so many advanced formatting options as well, like custom formatting and conditional formatting. But in this video, we will be learning about the basics of formatting, how to do the basic formatting, and what is Excel formatting. Now, let's get started. Excel formatting is an optional step following data preparation or all of the data cleansing, enriching, structuring, and standardizing that is required in order to prepare data for analysis. For example, adding dollar to cells that contain values pertaining to prices, or configuring cells that represent dates to standard display of something. So for an example, it's very theoretical, but let me explain you in layman's term. So normally, let's say you are dealing with data. Now, as we already know, the data are of two types majorly. one is your categorical data, and one is your numerical data. Sometimes what happens is when you are reading the files or when you are reading data from your databases, your numbers are by mistake converted into text messages or else as string, or else vice versa. Your string could become numbers, or else your dates might not be in the right format. So it is always advisable to use formatting so that you can actually format in the way you want. And then once the data is ready, then you can take your next step for your analysis. Simple. Or else it's not all about analysis. Let's say you are showcasing something, you are preparing some report, and you want to beautify your report. You want to change something, you want to change the layout, you want to change the text values. All these things you can use formatting. Now, components of format cells are basically number, the alignment, the font, the border, the filling. Let's say you want to fill some solid color in that or gradient color, and protection. These are the major components of format cells. Now, talking about data formatting, there are multiple options in data formatting. If I start talking about formatting in details, it might take around 2 to 3 hours to finish. But we will be restricting this video so that we understand the basics of it, and rest I will like you guys to try out by yourself, because the more practical approach you will take, the more practice you do, the more you learn, right? Apart from that, we will also be learning about the data formatting in Excel, like how to format numbers, alignments, and all those things. So we'll simply start with this sheet, which is basic formatting sheet. Now I already have a table like this and my header like this. So simply, let's say I want to increase the font of this one. I'll have to go to home, and this is where your fonts are. These are very basics. Let's say you want to change your font types. You can easily hover around and you can see the changes. Okay. Let's say I want to stick to Calibri. I will stick to Calibri, and then I will give the font size as 50, and oh, it's not visible. Then I will just expand it. Now I will just change the color, text color to this. Simple. Now, as my data is in a tabular format, I want to give a table shape. So I will be selecting all the data, and I'll go to this border selection, click on here and do all borders. Again, as I told, these are very basic steps. Now, as this is my header values, I want to give a bold impact to them. So you can either use the shortcut, which is Control B, or else you can select this. Simple. And now next step is going to be giving a color to your body. So I'll give a color, let's say a very light color, so that we are able to see the values properly. This, and let's say for this header, I will giving a small, let's say I will give this color. Simple. And this is how things looks like. And then I will give my header values a little bit higher font size as compared to the body. Okay. So this is how a basic formatting works. Fonts formatting and all those things. Okay. Will not change the customer ID. Okay. It is becoming big because of my basic formatting name, which should be okay. We will just and then my data is ready. Okay. So this is my data. Now I will move on to the next step, which is the basic formatting. Let's say this particular column balance, I want to convert it into text. So simply right click, or else you can do Control+1. So Control+1 is a shortcut for your format cells, or else you can simply do right click and then format cells. Once you go to format cells, you can see there are so many options: number, alignment, font, border, fill, and protection. Simple. Let's say by default, the value, the category selected is general category. Let's say you want to change it to numbers. And in this formatting, you don't want the decimal places. So simply I can just change my decimal places to 0. Simple. Which format do you want? I will select the first format, click on OK. So my decimal places are gone. Or else, if you want to convert it into text, simply select on text, click on OK. Now this becomes a text. Simple. Reverting back, because I don't want to make it a text, I was just showing you. Similarly, we'll also take a look at other options. So there are fraction, percentage, time, date. Date time is basically used for your date columns, which we don't have right now. So all these things are different categories. By default, Excel does a very good job in identifying the default category. But in case you feel that it has done some mistakes in identifying the category, you can simply change the category. Right. Now alignment. Alignment, left indentation, centralized, or right indentation. All these things are possible. Let's say something like this. Let's say you want to change the alignment of your text. You want to do central. Vertically also you want to do central. And then wrap text. You can see how the number has gone to the center location, right? So all these things are some things which we really don't use. At least I don't use all these alignments, font, and all those things. But in case you want to beautify it, you can definitely do that. Let's say you want to change the font colors or font sizes or font types. You can either go to the format cells, or you can simply go to your font sections as well. Here also you can simply change it to, let's say you change it to something else, right? Let's say you want to change it to Arial rounded or Arial black, up to you. Or else you can also do this in your format cells. Go to font, change it to Algerian or something like this, and click on OK, and the numbers will be changed. The font sizes and the all these things will change. Then we have border. Again, border also there are multiple things. How you want to add the borders. Filling, if you want to add some filling, let's say you want to do yellow filling, and this is how your data looks like. Let's say you want to do a filling on these values. I will do format cells, go to filling, give a color. So many options are there. If you want to do a gradient, vertical gradient, all these things, click on OK. And this is how the new column looks like, right? There are some conditional formatting options as well, which we will be learning in the future classes, not today's class. So these are some basic formatting options. Let's see what do we have in the last cell, which is protection. So protection basically says locking cells or hiding formulas has no effect until you protect the worksheet. So this is basically for data privacy. Okay. Now all these are your formatting options. So that's all about your basic formatting. You can just do your own research. Okay, one more thing is date formatting. I just forgot date formatting. Let me just give a 20 and then make it dark and make it some filling. Let's say, okay, date formatting. Let's say I have a date like 01/01/2020, 01/02/2020, something like that. We have two dates and you want to convert the date formats, right? Simply click on format cells, go to number. You can see by default, I'm able to select date. And you can see there are multiple options available. If you want to change it to this, you can already see the sample data here. If you want to change it to this, let's say I want to change it to this. So it should be in the format of 1st January 2020, something like that. If I click on OK, you can see my format is changed. So this is all about the basic formatting. You can also do some other techniques as well. Let's say I want to do date time. Let's say you have a field which is like date with time. All these things are also possible. You can just change your formatting. Up to you. If you want to do a 24 hours format or a 12 hours format, or on dates you want to do some formatting like YYMMDD or else DDMMYY, all these things are possible. YYYY hyphen MM hyphen DD. All these things are predefined functions, predefined formats in Excel. So that is all about the basic Excel formatting. In the next classes, we will be learning the custom formatting and conditional formatting and few other topics as well. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we shall be learning about the custom formatting in Excel. So far, we have already covered the basic formatting in Excel, how to convert from a date to a text, text to a number, number to a text, and all these kind of functions like how to format the cells, how to add tables, and all these basic concepts are done. Now, what is custom formatting? Custom formatting is something which is like, it could be anything. There are thousands and thousands ways to implement custom formatting. Let's say you have a number and your manager says, can I have the number in a thousands format? Like 123, 000 instead of 123000. Or else your manager asks you, can we have the product code which is in the format of 112, 113? It should be like 0112 and 0113, like in a 4 places. Or else I want 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places. I want to ignore the null values. I want to get rid of the negative values. All these things are possible inside your custom formatting. So again, for this exercise, I have taken this file which has 20 customer data. It has row number, customer ID, surname, credit score, all these parameters it has. And we will be first talking about this column which is balance. Now, first topic is going to be thousand separator. In this video, trust me, I will only be talking about just few of the ways how we can deal with the custom formatting. There are thousands and thousands of ways. Now, thousand separator. What is thousand separator? Simply, if you have a number like 12000, instead of that, we should have the number like 12, 000. Simple. This is how a thousand format looks like. So to implement the thousands format, click on your column. Let's say we'll implement it on estimated salary. Click on this, right click, format cells. Now we have already gone through this particular cell. There are so many options, right? General, number, currency, custom, all these things are there. So for this thousand separator, we simply have to go to number and use thousand separator. Now, before applying this, let me just show you how it looks like in the custom window. In the custom window, it is simply 0.00, right? 0.00. That means this is in the format of 0.00, x.00 format. If I go to number and use the thousand separator, and I don't want decimals, let's say I want to ignore the decimals, I also want negative numbers. Before, let me click on OK, and you can see this is how the new data looks like. Again, now I will go to format cells. I want to check what is my value in the custom field. You can see the value is hash, comma, hash, hash 0. That means hash or pound, whatever you can call. That means you can see in a 4-digit number, you are getting a comma in the comma after the first digit. So automatically Excel understands that it has to implement comma after every 3 digits. Let's say you want to test it, on a bigger number. You can see on a bigger number, your number looks like this. Because before every third digit, it is applying the comma. And this is how the custom operation works. And you can see there are so many options in the custom field. So there are multiple ways to do multiple things. It all depends what you are willing to do. So I will just copy paste this code. Now I will try to implement same in the balance. Let's say I want to implement here. I will just quickly go to format cells, go to custom, and just paste it. Simple. Instead of going to the number and selecting the thousands places and all those things, I'll quickly go to custom and select paste this. So this becomes this, right? So always remember that this is basically the formula for a thousands place. Now in the custom, one more thing I wanted to explain, that in this custom field, always there are 4 attributes: something colon something colon something colon something colon something. Okay, that means there will be 3 colons because there are 4 attributes. What are these 4 attributes? The first part is always for the positive numbers. The second part is always for the negative numbers. The third part is for the zero numbers. And fourth part is always for the text numbers. Okay, like the text values. So let me just remove it. And now let's say I want to hide the zero values. So how can we do that? Simply, let's not hide the zero values. Okay, let's try to do this. For negative values, let's keep it like this. And then for zero values, let's say for zero values, I want to keep it open. Okay, click on OK. Now you can see my zero values are gone. See, I have just formatted my zero values. Let's say, okay, I don't want to do it on the column name. So I'll just go to format cells and then see, first attribute is your positive numbers. This is your positive numbers and this is your negative numbers. For zero numbers, I want nothing. I want to do nothing. That means it will be erased. Now, if I click on OK, you can see the numbers are gone. But the numbers are still there. It's not visible to you. That's it. If you want to do some mathematical operations, let's say you want to do a mathematical operation on that number, this comma 5. Of course, this works. 0 plus 5 is 5. So everything works. The value is still there in the cell. If I click on that cell, I will be able to see the value here. You can see, click on this, the value is visible, but it's just not visible to us because of the custom formatting. Now, similarly, after this, let's see what are the different other options for custom formatting. Let me just select this. Now, if you don't want the negative values, for example, how many negative values do we have? Minus 15,000 and minus 12,000. Simply, what I will do is, instead of this, I will just keep it blank. Delete, 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 keep it blank. Once I click on OK, my negative values will also be gone. It will be there in the cell, but it will not be visible to us. You can see negative values are gone. So it all depends. If your manager asks, hey, can you keep all the negative values as part of calculation, but just don't show it? See, there are multiple ways to fix this. You can simply change the color to, let's say you have a number like this. You can simply change the color to white as well, right? That works. That works. But it's not a right way to do it. So you should always go for custom formatting, right? Now, let me revert back the changes. Okay, let's keep the changes, no problem. You can just check it out when you have this file with you. And after this, our next task will be, let's say you have product code and you have sales. Let's say there are two columns. Let's say we'll have few records. Product code 1, 112, 113, 120, 25, something like that. And sales is like 12,000, 1,200, 1,400, minus 1,500, 1,200, 600, something like that. Now, if your manager asks, my product code is always a 4-digit number, why in your Excel sheet it is showing like this? Could be of multiple reasons. When you are extracting data like 0001, it by default gets converted into 1, right? Because it is taking it as a integer value. Now, how can we fix this problem? How can we show the number in a 4-digit format? First of all, is it possible? Yeah, the easiest fix is to change it to text. Convert this value into text. Let's say I want to copy paste this. I can simply convert this value into text and then do my changes. 000, 0112, something like that. This is one of the options. But how can we do it using custom formatting? Let me just copy paste it. Okay, now how can we do this? Simply click on this and then right click, format cells, go to custom. Custom is definitely going to be your go to tool in terms of custom formatting. Go to custom 0000. Simple. That means you are forcing a number to be a 4-digit number. If you want 5-digit numbers, 00000. Simple. Let's see how this works. I don't know if it might work or it might not work, but let's see. If I click on OK, you can see my product code is now changed to 0001, 0112, 0113 in 4-digit format. But it is still, the cell value is still the same. We are just seeing it as a 4-digit number. That's the beauty of custom formatting. Now, what else can we do in custom formatting? Let's say, okay, let's say for negative values, if your manager asks for negative values, can you have a text along with that, like something which will be able to identify that it's a negative number? Let's say, okay, my bad. Let's say we'll go to format options, we'll go to custom. So here I will be copy pasting. Okay, let's just do this number, 2 digits, go to custom. Sorry, click on this. I just wanted to. Okay, okay. Now if I go to format custom, I'll just copy paste this. So I don't want negative numbers. Instead of that, I should mark a negative number as negative, something like that. Simple. So simple, comma, instead of negative. That means I'm appending a text in terms of negative values. So all my negative values will be negative. See, if I still do a sum operation, sum of these values, you can see 2,900, 1,200 plus 1,400, which is 2,600, 3,800, 4,400 minus 1,500, which is 2,900. So in terms of calculation, it is coming perfectly fine. But to us, what is visible is negative, right? Or else if you want to change it to something else, let's say you want to change it to the value with something, let's say negative. So value with negative, right? All these things are possible inside your custom formatting. Apart from that, there are multiple other options as well in custom formatting. Let's say you want to display a number in a specific format. Let's say you want to display a number in dot zero format. So how can we do that? Let's say we'll talk about balance. That means you want a number. Let's say you have a number like 120. You want it as 120.0, something like that. So how can we do that? Go to this, right click, format cells. So here, instead of the first part, I will be just doing hash dot zero hash. And then if I do this, you can see it's now in the format of 2 digits. Let's say you want to apply here number of products. Go to custom, hash dot zero hash, click on OK. Now you can see it's 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, something like that. So again, it all depends. Let's say you want to display 3 decimal places. I will click on this column, format cells. 3 decimal places will be hash dot 000, and now it is in the 3 decimal places. Right. Now let's try to do some exercise. Here, let's say here, I will have a number and I will have different formats of it. Let's say we'll have a format like 0, 0.0. Okay. Let me just format this row as text. Okay. I have 0. I have 0.0. I have hash dot 0. Hash dot 0. I have 0.00. I have, there are so many options available. Hash dot 00, and then we'll have the last but not the least, hash dot 000. Let's say we'll have this table, simple table. Let's say I will give my numbers as, let's say 0, okay, 0.5, and then we'll have 5, then we'll have 5.5, we'll have 5.55, we'll have 6, something like that. Okay, now what is 0? Let's say I will copy paste all these values in these cells and then we will format it. Okay, by default I have copy pasted all the values. Now I will format everything. I will start formatting from this particular cell. Right click, format. Which format do you want? I want the format as 0. So this is in this format. Now I will do the formatting in 0.0. Custom 0.0. 0.0. Now 0.0 is like this. So your 0.0, 0.5 is 0.5, your 5 is 5.0. So your numbers are converted into float values. Hash dot 0, format cells, hash dot 0. And then it looks like this. 0.0. Sorry, 0.00. 0.00. Hash dot 00. See, it looks very difficult, but trust me, it's going to be very easy to deal with. You just have to remember the first part is your positive value, semicolon negative value, semicolon 0 values, semicolon text values. Okay, that's it. Now, what else? Let's say we have another column called as 0. And we'll just do this. Oh, my bad. We will not do this one. Instead of this 6, we'll just change it to 0. Okay, now this is the formatting. Simple. So I hope everybody has learned so far something related to custom formatting. As I said, there are multiple other options. You can see in the formatting, custom formatting, there are multiple options here. And you can simply try out on multiple things and you will understand the various concepts on custom formatting. But again, these are some of the topics which are not that mandatory for a data analyst or a business analyst, because ultimately we have to solve problems, we have to do analysis. If we are stuck somewhere, definitely we have Google to help. So I hope you had a good understanding on custom formatting. Next topic will be on conditional formatting. Thank you. Hi. In this video, we shall be learning about conditional formatting. So far, I hope everybody knows about the basic formatting and the custom formatting. In this video, we will be learning about conditional formatting. Now, what is conditional formatting? Simple English, conditional formatting. That means formatting based on certain conditions. For an example, you are doing some analysis on Excel and your manager asks you, "Hey, can you do some sort of analysis or do some sort of formatting based on some conditions?" Let's say if your sales value is greater than a particular threshold value, then mark it as green or else mark it as red. Well, everything is possible. Can you give some gradient values? Can you give some bar values so that it will be evidently visible what's going on in that particular column? Everything is possible using conditional formatting. Now, conditional formatting is nothing but illustrate the use of conditional formatting in Excel. Conditional formatting helps us visualize data and make worksheets easier to understand. Because once you do some sort of formatting like that, let's say you're analyzing a sales value or analyzing a salary value, once somebody opens it and he sees that these are the items in green and these are the items in red, it will be evidently visible that something is happening here, that the conditional formatting is applied, right? So visually it will be appealing. It catches your attention, catches users attention when somebody opens the worksheet for the first time. It quickly highlights important information in a spreadsheet by using colors, icons, and data bars. It changes the appearance of one or more cells while cell values meet certain conditions. So there are various advantages of conditional formatting. So now we will move on to the practicals part. So for practicals, I'm using the same file. I'm using the same data, which is customer related data, telecom related customer data. And I will be doing some sort of conditional formatting in this particular section, in this particular sheet, right? Now, how to do conditional formatting? You can see in the upper tab, home tab. Inside home tab, you can see conditional formatting, right? Once I click on conditional formatting, now I haven't clicked yet, my mouse is just over that, and it says easily spot trends and patterns in your data using bars, colors, and icons to visually highlight important values. If I click on it, you can see there are multiple options available. Highlight cell rules: greater than, lower than, between, equals to. That means if a number is greater than a certain threshold value, then it should be in green, or else up to you. It's up to you. It's up to the one who is doing the analysis. Or else less than. Top or bottom rules. Let's say you want to mark the top 10 items or top 5 items. Top 5 is, however, not present, but there is always an option of more rules. You can easily go to more rules and find the top 5. Data bars. You can see if I quickly hover this around this column, conditional formatting data bars, you can see as my mouse is hovered over certain number of gradient fields, you can see how the values are changing, like the graph is changing, right? The more the value, the bigger the bar chart will be, the bigger the bar value will be, and so on. So when somebody applies this, let's say if I click on this, it will be applied. Let's say if I'm clicking on this, now just imagine somebody is opening two versions of an Excel sheet, one without the formatting, one with the formatting. 100% with the formatting, If suddenly somebody opens this Excel sheet, definitely my first eye point of contact will be estimated salary, because there is some color or some sort of bar that has been done here. Definitely, if somebody opens a sheet, my eyes will be there, right? So that's how appealing a conditional formatting is. Now there are various other options. Data label is just one of them. Okay, let me just delete it. Clear rules from this entire sheet. Now let's say we want to do some sort of formatting based on a threshold value. Okay, let's say my threshold is 80,000. Simple. Now click on this column, go to conditional formatting, go to highlight cell rules, greater than, and now once you are in the greater than, you can see by default there is a value, right? I don't know what this value is. It could be because of multiple reasons, but here I'm going to change it to 80,000. Upon 80,000, greater than 80,000, what I need to do? Let's say I will do a green fill with dark green text. Do it, okay, and then your rules are changed. Similarly, if you want to do it for the other way around, values less than 80,000, again go to highlight cell values less than, and here 80,000, and change it to light red. Instead of this 80,000, if you want to select a cell, you can also select a cell. Let's say I want to delete it. I want to select a cell value. That is also possible. Works the same way like the hard-coded values. But yeah, the hard-coded values, if you change this, it won't be impacted, right? So I'll just go to manage rules, and here, instead of this, I will be using this column. Done. Apply. Okay. Now you can see how dynamic it is in nature. Let's say my threshold is decreasing from 80,000, it is changing to 60,000. Upon changing the values, you can see there will be a change in these colors. Enter, and you can see, because it's dynamic in nature, I'm using this cell value. Anything above this cell value is green, anything below this cell value is red. Simple, right? Done. Let's say you want to change the cell value as an average of done. And you can see based on this average value, the cell values have changed, right? 83 less than 83, it's coming as red. Apart from that, there are multiple other options as well. As I told you, conditional formatting, highest values, you can explore all these things like between, equals to, text that contains, date occurring, duplicate values, color scales. A lot of color scales are there. Sometimes I don't think these are very relevant to use, but data bars and all these three options are definitely useful. Let's say data bars. Data bars will give an idea about how the data point values are. Simple, right? Now, let's say I want to apply something on this balance. So conditional formatting, let's say I will give a, I want to find the top 5 records. So I'll click on more rules because top 5 is not available. I'll click on more rules. Here by default, it is coming top 5 records. Preview. Which type of formatting do you need? Now there is no format set. I'll click on this. Let's say I want to find the top 5 records and I want to give this color. Click on OK. Automatically, I'm able to see the top 5 balances. So who are the top 5 balances? Mr. Onyu, Mr. HE, Mr. H, Mr. Goforth, and Mr. Romeo. Simple. Similarly, let's say you want to delete some rules. Let's say you want to delete rules on estimated salary, or else you want to check how many rules are applied in this column. Simply select on this column, select on conditional formatting, go to manage rules. If you click on manage rules, you will be able to see the different rules. If you want to edit it, you can simply edit it. If you want to delete it, you can delete it. Let's say I want to delete it. Once deletion is done, once I apply and OK, the rules will be deleted. Simple. Few more options. Let's discuss few more options and then we can wind up. Let's say I want to do some icon sets. So directional. So there are multiple options as well like this, which will show you the different graphs, like whether there is an increase or decrease or something like that. Now you can also set all these values based on which you want to increase or decrease. Okay, so let me just select it and go to manage rules, and you can go to edit. You can see where increase where value is greater than equals to 67%. So here the percentage value is defined. Or else if you define a number, let's say I want to define anything beyond 80,000 or else 90,000, 85,000, 83. Okay, we'll use this cell value. Okay. And anything greater than 60,000. Okay, and then apply. You can see the values have changed. So all these things are configurable. So don't get confused or don't get stressed out if you are not able to understand. You can simply click on the column where the conditional formatting is done, or else if you want to do something on that, go to manage rules, and here you can edit rule and you can easily identify what's going on, right? So this is all about conditional formatting. Of course, very useful tool, very useful concept which we use in Excel, and definitely it's used in most of the scenarios where you want to show some attributes, show some values like sales analysis, or you're doing some analysis on some salary, employee salary, manager salary. It depends upon use case to use case. If you are dealing with a medical data, number of patients, has the number of patients increased or decreased? All these things are usually done in Excel, and conditional formatting is a very strong concept. Definitely a must known skill. I mean, it should be a must skill for a data analyst and a business analyst. So that's it for this video, for this particular class. In the next class, we'll be coming up with some advanced topics. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we shall be learning about the various charts in Excel. Now, why do we use charts? Because we need to visualize our data. And in order to visualize, we need to know our data. So before getting started into which chart to select and how to create a chart, let's talk about some basics of EDA. I assume that everybody has gone through the EDA classes, exploration of data. Now, just giving a rough idea about data. Data is majorly of two types. One is categorical data and one is numerical data. So first of all, you need to identify which type of analysis I'm doing. Let's say you are doing an analysis on a categorical data. Let's say categorical data called as gender. Now, gender, we have two valid values, male and female. In some cases, there might be trans as well. Now, let's say, just assume we have two valid values, which is male and female. How do we visualize it? What is the best way of visualization? Of course, one way is to identify the percentage difference between male and female, and it can be done using a pie chart or else using bar charts. Let's say male distribution and female distribution. Let's say we're analyzing numerical columns. What we can do is we can analyze using a scatter plot. So let's say I have height and weight, and just imagine my data points are something like this, and it is like this, which clearly states that height is increasing and weight is increasing as well. Statistically, if you remember, this is nothing but the correlation between two different numerical variables. And if this is the scenario, when height is increasing, weight is also increasing, that basically means the correlation is somewhere between 0 to 1, at least towards 1. That means they are positively correlated. Similarly, if I see the data points like this, which clearly states that when the height is increasing, the weight is decreasing, right? That means they are negatively correlated. And if there is no correlation, you will not be able to find any kind of linear correlation between these two columns. In that case, the correlation value will be somewhere around zero. So there are various charts, various visualizations that are possible. Heat maps is also possible, bar charts, line charts, area charts, a lot of them are there. And one good thing about Microsoft Excel is that it already has a feature like recommendation charts. That means you can select your data and you can go to the insert, and then you can go to the chart section. There will be an option called as recommended charts. When you click on that, you can already see some recommendations from Excel. That's how intelligent Excel is. Now, enough of these theoretical concepts. We'll quickly jump into the practicals part. So again, I'm using the same data like the telecom churn related data, but again, we are not concerned about the use case. We are concerned about building some of the charts. So we'll start with geography. Let's say I select my column and then I go to insert and then I go to recommended charts. I can see some clustered column charts as a recommended chart. Now, if I click on this, you can see I'm able to open a pivot table, right? What is a pivot table? We will be talking about that in the next class, but you can see it's basically doing a group by operation. I hope everybody knows about group by. Basically, what's happening here is select geography, count star from table name, group by geography. This is what is happening here. We are grouping by the table based on a geography column. So I'm able to get the total count of France is 10, Germany is 3, and Spain is 7. And here we are able to get this chart. So I'll quickly jump into the charts again. Let's try to analyze balance and estimated salary, which are nothing but two numerical columns. Again, I'll go to insert. You can see these are some of the options. Many options are there, but I will be selecting the recommended charts, which basically says, want us to recommend a good chart to showcase your data, select data in your worksheet, and blah, blah, blah. It will be able to recommend you. If I click on this, I can see a lot of features. I can see a scatter plot. I can see a clustered column. I can see a clustered bar chart. I can see a line chart, stacked column chart, stacked bar chart. Simple. I will be selecting this and clicking on OK, and you can see my graph is ready. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that the graph will fit here. Now this is what the data looks. This is what the graph looks like. Now what is this? Estimated salary versus balance. Can we draw some insights out of it, that whether there is an increase or decrease or some correlation between these two columns? Graphically, I'm not able to interpret anything. But we also have a statistical function called as correlation. If I click on this, comma, click on this, it will be able to see, it will be able to tell my correlation output, which is 0.04, which basically states that there is no correlation. They are not correlated with each other. That means there is no linear relationship between estimated salary and balance. Similarly, I will also see some other charts. Let's say I want to plot tenure. I will go to insert, recommended charts, and you can see these are some of my data. Area charts, line charts, all these things are possible. Simple, right? So these are some of the values. These are some of the ways how you can interpret your charts. Let's say we want to analyze two categorical data, geography and gender. If I select this and if I go to insert, I go to recommended charts. Well, I'm not getting a good recommendation. So I will use one of them, go to the pivot table or the pivot chart, and then edit it. So let's say I'll select this one. So automatically I am being taken to the pivot sheet. Here you can see, although I had selected gender and geography, but here I can only see geography. but it's a pivot table. It's a pivot chart. And here I can easily add my gender. If you want to add gender as a filter, you can add it. That means you can filter. If you want to select female, you can filter out. You can select male, it will filter out. Let's say you don't want to add gender as a filter, you want to add gender as a legend. Now, if you add it as a legend, there will be three bars, like three sections. For each section, there will be a gender category, male and female. Now, this is what it looks like. Similarly, if you want to interchange geography with gender, so drag gender here and drag geography there, you will be able to see that in your x-axis, you are able to see the different types of gender. And for each gender, you are seeing the different geographies. So whatever way you want to deal with, you can easily plot it. Similarly, you can have multiple things as well. Let's say you want to also add, for example, exited as a filter. That means you want to see who have exited and who have not. Zero means people who have not exited. So this is how the data looks like, and people who have exited. So these are the things which we usually do in Python when it comes to our exploration of data or exploratory data analysis. But the same EDA steps can easily be done in Excel as well. Apart from these visual representations, we can also do a lot of statistical tests in Excel, which we will be reading in our next class. So till then, that's it for this particular class. I hope you understood the basics of charts and how to build charts. If you want, we can also build some other charts as well. Let's say we want to build okay on this is active member, we want to build a pie chart. So I'll click on this, insert, and click on a pie chart, 2D chart, and this is how my chart looks like. Okay, now, so these are other ways. So obviously you can also do a lot of formatting in these cases. Let's say you want to do some formatting, you can do it. You can edit it. You can fill some colors, no fill, solid fill. All these things are possible. Gradient fill. That means you are just formatting your charts. Solid line, gradient line, which type of line do you want? All these things are possible to make your charts even look better. Font size, font colors, whatever is possible in Power BI, it's definitely possible in Excel as well. Okay, that's it. That's about the basics of charts in Excel. In the next class, we will be learning about some statistical concepts like correlation. For example, we did some correlation here between our balance and estimated salary. What if you want to do the correlation for all our numerical columns? Let's say, what are my numerical columns? This, this, and this. Let's say we take these columns, we create a new chart, sorry, a new worksheet. Let's say numerical columns. And this is how my data looks like. I'll just delete my first row. This is how my data looks like. Let's say you want to do a correlation engine or a correlation for each and every column. That means A with B, A with C, A with D, A with E, and so on. Whatever permutations and combinations are possible. When it comes to Python, we can easily do our pandas data frame df dot correlation, like CORR function, right? Or else we can easily plot a heat map. How can we do all this kind of analysis in Excel? We will be studying in the next class. Thank you. Hi. In the last video, I paused at one point where I had multiple numerical columns, and I was asking whether it is possible to create some sort of correlation function where we will be able to see the correlation, the linear relationship between multiple numerical columns. Well, if we have 2 or 3 columns, then we can simply create our scatter plots or call our correlation function. But what if we have multiple columns, hundreds of columns? Apart from that, let's say you want to do some sort of statistical tests in Excel, like the way we used to do in Python. We used to do ANOVA tests, t-tests, z-tests, correlation tests, and a lot of tests. So a lot of statistical concepts which we were doing in Python. First of all, is it possible to do it in Excel? Well, the answer is yes. In this video, we will be learning about various statistical analysis using Excel. So let's get started. I'll be using the same file where I stopped in the last video. These are my 5 extracted numerical columns from my original dataset. And let's say I want to perform some sort of activities here. I want to perform some correlation function activities. I want to find whether there is a linear relationship between each and every column. Now, logically, if I have 5 columns, I will be able to plot 10 plots, 10 graphs. Let's say a scatter plot between A and B, A and C, AD, AE, BC, BD, BE, CD, CE, and DE. There are 10 possible outcomes. So we'll get started with it. We'll start with credit score and age. I'll go to insert. I'll go to recommended chart and click on this one. And this is my credit score and age. Similarly, I will do it for credit score and tenure. Insert, recommended chart, scatter plots. So like this. Similarly, I will also do it for credit score and balance. Insert, scatter plots. You can see that to accomplish this task, to analyze different numerical columns, I need 10 charts. So when your data increases, let's say you have hundreds of columns, you can imagine how many graphs there will be. So it is visually very difficult for us to identify where there is a pattern, where there is a numerical relationship between multiple columns. Now, in this example, if I talk about this graph, I can barely see a slight linear relationship between your credit score and age. That means when your credit score is increasing, your age is also increasing. To guarantee that, to identify the relationship, we can call our correlation function on A and B, which basically states that there is a positive correlation, 0.35. Similarly, we'll do with tenure and credit score, correlation of credit score and tenure. And you can see there is a slightly negative correlation. That means when your tenure is increasing, your credit score is decreasing, and vice versa. Now, these things are possible because we are dealing with 5 columns. So it's quite easy to identify all these patterns. How can we do it when we have multiple columns? Or else, how can we create a chart, like a correlation chart? In Python, our life was so easy. We just have to call our pandas library and then read our data frame. Let's say pd.read.csv from my file name, and then call our df.core. It basically gives all your correlation between your multiple numerical columns. And if you want to visualize it, you can just import your cborn and call your cborn.heatmap and pass your df.correlation. Life was so easy. Can we do these things in Excel? Well, your answer is going to be yes. So in this video, we will be learning about all these statistical analysis which can be done in Excel. So I'm deleting all these charts, and to enable your data analysis tab, basically you have to go to your data column. You can see in the data tab, at the end, there will be a data analysis. Here it is not visible right now. I'm sure it won't be visible for you as well. To enable it, you can go to File, go to Options, go to Add-ins, Manage Excel Add-ins, click on Go. And here in the Add-in section, I can see 4 options. Analysis Toolpack, which basically states that provides data analysis tools for statistical and engineering analysis. We have analysis toolpack for VBA, for euro currency tools, solver add-in, and in some of the cases, you might be able to see some other options as well. I will be enabling this analysis toolpack, and immediately once I click on OK, I will be able to see a data analysis section on the top. I click on OK, and you can see my data analysis is active right now. Data analysis tools, it's nothing but tools for financial and scientific data analysis. Now I'll quickly click on my data analysis to see what are the different options available. Now I can see, oh my God, there are so many options. ANOVA single factor, ANOVA two factor, ANOVA two factor without replication, correlation, covariance, descriptive statistics. So a lot of things which are actually possible in Python are also possible in Excel. You can easily explore each one of them. It's going to be super simple to explore, to be very honest. Let's say you want to find, uh, we'll talk about the correlation. Okay, I'll click on correlation. Even if you don't know anything about what values to pass, you can easily identify. Input range, it's asking for an input range. So I will be selecting all this range. So you can see from $A1 till $E21. So all the data is selected. And I know that my first row is a header. So I will click labels in first row. And then output options, output range, new worksheet, new workbook. I will select new worksheet, click on OK, and you can see that the correlation will be built in couple of seconds. It usually doesn't take that much of time, but we can just wait for 1 more minute and our correlation will be done. Now you can see my correlation is done and it is open in a new tab, in a new worksheet, and you can see everything is built here. I hope everybody knows about correlation. If you don't know, then you can probably check out all these things, how to find correlation heat map, the way we used to do in Python. What is a heat map? It has all the values in your x-axis and the same values with your y-axis, right? These are your diagonal values. That means diagonally your value has to be 1, which means credit score with credit score, the correlation is 1. Age with age, the correlation is 1. Age with credit score, the correlation is 0.35. If you want to validate these things, you can simply select on, let's say, I will just copy this one and take it to the here. Let's say this is my final output. Simple. You want to validate these numbers, whether these numbers are correct or not. These are nothing but correlation between credit score and age. You can see this number and this number are matching. You want to validate something else, estimated salary with age. I will do correlation age with estimated salary, and this is minus 0.13. So this is the way how you create your correlation function. Now you don't have to create your scatter plots or create your correlation function again and again. It basically states a lot of things, right? And here you identify that these are your highest values, right? So age and credit score is positively correlated, and similarly your tenure and credit score is negatively correlated, right? All these things are possible. Now we'll check on some other parameters like other data analysis options. As I told you, there are multiple things. Descriptive statistics. Let's say I want to find the descriptive statistics of my table, labels in first row, create a new worksheet. And here, what do I need? I need summary statistics. And I want, okay, let's say only summary statistics. Once I click on OK, my new worksheet will be opened. And here we go. For credit score, the mean value is 606. If you want, you can just validate it. Let's say we will validate it for the estimated salary. So I will just copy paste this one, estimated salary, to this column, and here I will have it. Okay, we cannot copy paste it. So let's say I will just copy, mean value is 8317172. So let's say I want to calculate average of estimated salary. Sorry, average of, I have to select this one, 83172. And here also you can see 83172. So all these things are perfectly done. And these are some of the ways how you can do your data analysis in Excel. Very simple to do. You just have to explore some options. Let's say I'll click on data analysis and I want to do a rank and percentile. Let's say I'll select this one, labels in first row, click on OK, and you can see that my percentile values are done. My estimated salary, which is the highest, is basically my 100 percentage. 94. The ranking systems are done. So these are various ways to deal with your data analysis in Excel. I hope this class was very informative, and I hope you got some ideas about how to perform data analysis activities using Excel. So that's it. You can explore the other options as well. I'm sure you will love it because it's super simple to understand the concepts. But if you want to understand what exactly is F test, what exactly is ANOVA, those things will not be covered in this class. You probably have to go through the statistics lectures and try to understand these topics. Once you know, if you are concerned about how to apply ANOVA in Excel, those things you can easily take help of these concepts. But to understand the basics behind the terminologies, what is ANOVA, what is correlation, what is covariance, you probably have to go through the statistics classes. That's it for this video. In the next classes, we'll be coming up with some other topics. Thank you. Hi. In the previous videos, we talked about various statistical analysis. We talked about how to create charts in Excel and a lot of things. Now, while creating a chart, I hope everybody had seen that it was opening up in a different sheet where we were able to see a pivot table. I also talked that I will be explaining about the pivot tables in the future classes, and here we are understanding about pivot tables. So in this video, we will be learning about how to analyze data using pivot tables. Doing a proper analysis of the available data helps companies make critical business decisions. But sometimes it's difficult to understand where to start, especially when the data is huge. How pivot tables work, or how analyzing data works using pivot tables. One can design a pivot table by simply dragging and dropping relevant information into the appropriate boxes. There are multiple ways to create a pivot table. You can easily select your columns and create a pivot table, or else you can simply create a chart which will open up a pivot table. So it's either way around, anything is possible. This tool quickly pivots or reorganizes data, allowing us to answer different questions and even experiment with the data to discover new trends and patterns. Now, one good thing about pivot tables is, again, it is used for exploration of data, exploratory data analysis, because we might have to understand the graph. We might have to understand the distribution of my categorical data, or how the distribution is across multiple categorical data. All those things are possible in Python very easily. In SQL, we can easily group by, and in Excel, we can take help of the pivot tables. What happens in backend is definitely the same like group by, but pivot table is the name which is given by the Excel experts. So this is what a pivot table is all about. And then we also have a lot of features inside your pivot tables. There are options like report filters, which basically filters the reports. There are options like column labels, legends, values. A lot of options are there. Once we jump into the pivot tables, you will have a better understanding on how to work with the pivot table. There are some other concepts like slicers. Now, what is a slicer? Let's say you are analyzing the sales of your company and you want to create a slicer for a month value. That means if you can select January, you will be able to see the January data. February will be able to see the February data. So you can create a slicer, or else you can also create a slicer for your gender, for your geography, for anything you want. Slicer is very similar to a filter. That means on-screen filter, something like that. Another important tool of Excel is slicers, which makes filtering data in pivot tables even easier. Slicers contain a set of buttons. which make filtering data in pivot tables easier and quicker. We do not have to open the drop down lists to find the items we want to filter. We can create slicers for any field and can filter a pivot table by selecting the type of data we want. And then comes your grouping by, how to group by and find your different analysis. So let's say you are analyzing multiple things. We'll quickly jump onto the Excel sheet itself. There are so many custom calculations as well. So we'll jump onto the Excel sheet. Now, just imagine if you try to answer yourself, what will be my estimated salary, total estimated salary for the female customers or for the male customers? Definitely you will have to go for a group by option, right? So this is where your pivot table will come into picture. Let's say simply I will start creating my pivot table using gender and estimated salary. I have just selected my columns. What I will do is I will go to insert. Here there are two options. Recommended pivot tables works exactly like the recommended charts. So recommendations are an inbuilt feature of Excel where Excel identifies and gives you some sort of recommendations. So in order to not have recommendations, you can simply create your pivot table. But I will take help of recommended pivot tables, and this is what my recommendations are. You can see, do you want something like this? So automatically, irrespective of my selection, you can see gender, my geography was not even selected, but automatically you can see a lot of things here, right? Let's say you just want pivot table based on your selection, so you can create a pivot table as well. So let's not do that. Let's go to recommended pivot tables, and let's have some recommendations based on gender and estimated salary. Click on recommendation. Let's say I'll click on this one. Now, upon clicking on that particular chart, I am able to open my pivot table. On the right side of the screen, you will be able to see pivot table fields. Okay. So these are all my pivot table fields. Choose fields to add to report. There are multiple options here. Row number, customer ID, all these are your columns. There are multiple options here. Filters, columns, rows, and values. By default, your values are sum of estimated salary. If I just have to delete this, you can see this is how my pivot table looks like. So for France, my sum of estimated salary is 817K. For Germany, it is this. For Spain, it is this. Instead of sum, because sum, let's say you want to change it to something else, because sum depends on the total number of count, right? If your total number of count for Germany will be less, definitely your sum will be less. So I will go for average. And you can see average data, 80,000, 60,000, and 90,000. So on an average, the estimated salary of people who are in Spain are more than people who are in Germany. So you can easily identify where to go when if you are looking out for a job. Just kidding. So these are all the options. Now, pivot tables are super easy to deal with. Let's say you want another bifurcation based on gender. So you can quickly select gender and drag and drop to anywhere you want. Let's try to see what each of the options gives us. First of all, I'm dragging it to filters. Upon dragging it to filters, I will be able to see a filter. I can select that filter. Let's say like this. Now I can select female. So for female, you can see estimated salary of Germany is too high as compared to Spain. For males, estimated salary of Spain is too high as compared to Germany. So you can drive an estimated salary for females are greater in Germany than in Spain. This is an insight which you got. Similarly, I will do for males are greater in Spain than in Germany. So these are some of the insights that we quickly got from this particular pivot table. Simple. Now, instead of gender as a filter, I will get gender as a column. And you can see as a column, I am quickly able to see what are the distribution of males and females. You can see here for Germany, female customers are having more salary than Spain. And for male customers, Spain is having more salary than your Germany. If I have to drag gender as part of rows, okay, let's just delete it. Gender as a row, okay, it's asking us to replace. So let's say we want to replace it, and this is how it looks like. You can see this is how it looks like. So definitely different options are available to deal with this kind of things. So multiple options are available, and based on your pivot tables, you will be able to make a decision. Apart from that, you can also create a pivot table by using charts. Let's say you want to create a chart, recommended chart. Let's say you click on this one. Okay, this one is not giving me anything. Let's say I want to deal with geography and gender. I'll go to insert, go to recommended chart, and upon doing this, I'm able to create a chart, and I'm able to create a pivot chart as well. And again, as simple as that, these are the basic things which we already covered. Legend, or else if you want it on the axis, all these things are possible. Okay, now one good thing is that I will be quickly going to this sheet 9, and let's say we'll just undo it, and let's say I want to add a slicer. So slicer I will be adding based on, let's say, gender. So go to your insert, go to your slicer, or else if you don't want to go to insert and slicer, you can definitely go to data. Okay, in data there is no, I think there was, okay, analyze, my bad, analyze, and then insert a slicer. Now while inserting a slicer, it is asking what do you want. Let's say I want to add a slicer on gender. Click on OK, and this is my new slicer. Simple. If I want to increase the font size, I can simply increase it. And this is my slicer. Now, if I click on female, the values are changing. If I click on male, the values are changing. As simple as your dashboard functionalities, right? When it comes to Power BI, Tableau, or even in Excel, when you are doing your dashboards, definitely you make use of your slicers, right? Let's say you want to create more slicers. So I'll go to data, sorry. I'll go to insert and I'll go to slicer again. Okay, not this one. Let's say we'll go to page. Okay, analyze and then insert slicer. And here I will insert a slicer on the age bins. So multiple slicers are there. You can see female, male, and on female, what are the different age bins? And you can see that like this. If you want to delete it, you can simply delete it. So now you will have different age bins based on the geographical data and on average estimated salary. So multiple things like this are possible, and these are the ways how you deal with your data analysis using Excel. So that is all about pivot tables. A lot of features are there in pivot tables as well. I will recommend you to practice more and more into these areas. Our next topic is going to be on some dashboard techniques and some other techniques as well. So till then, thank you. Hi. In this video, we shall be learning about some dashboarding techniques. So far, I hope you know all the topics like some statistical analysis, how to write DAX functions, how to do conditional formatting, custom formatting, and a lot more options. You have also learned about various charts in Excel and how to deal with pivot tables. Now, once your all the learnings has been done, our very next step is to start creating dashboards. Now, talking about dashboards, if I have to compare Excel with Power BI or Tableau, definitely it's not that well advanced in terms of dashboarding, but definitely you can create some dashboards. It's not like you won't be able to create anything in Excel. Definitely, there can be dashboards which can be created in Excel sheets, and it can be as beautiful as Power BI and dashboard, Power BI and Tableau. So let's get started with our understanding on dashboard. Now, dashboarding is basically like creating and format different types of charts. Importance of interactive charts. Form controls such as combo box, checkbox, and radio buttons. An appropriately designed dashboard can quicken decision making processes, provide better coordination for your organization's efforts, and record the performance outcome. Using dashboards, the data visualizations of Excel, it is quite easy to create a detailed analysis report. These dashboard reports will provide more information and insights and alert us in case of negative trends or projections for profit or sales in specific regions. Dashboards are highly effective in validating the effectiveness of the matrices captured over time and bringing out the leading trends. Dashboards helps consolidate and organize these metrics through a summary. Basically, the reason why we are learning dashboarding is basically done after your EDA processes. After you have done your exploration of data, after you have done your statistical analysis, you have gathered information. Now you are converting your information into meaningful insights, into meaningful visualizations, which will be able to understand something. That means when you are creating an Excel dashboard, you might be creating for your clients, your customers, your higher management, your manager, or your stakeholders, something like that. And the reason why we create dashboards is to make an impact, right? Somebody who's looking at a dashboard will be able to identify what's going on with the data, and dashboard is nothing but a summarized report. This is a sample dashboard which looks like this. We have a project name, report date, project status, completed, and some of the information in this particular piece. Now, we'll get started with our dashboards. So for that, I have one sheet. I have two sheets basically. I have some students data, some exam results, subjects, what are the marks obtained, and I have some attendance. See, I'm just taking this as an example to show you how to get started with dashboarding. I'm not going to explain you how to work with the EDA parts, because EDA, I think you must have already done it. So EDA, after EDA is done, once you know the insights, then it will be easier for you to create some dashboards. So to get started with dashboard, I already have the dashboard ready, but I will show you at the end of this class. Now, before creating this one, I'll have to show you how to create a dashboard from scratch. So these two sheets I will be using, and I will be creating a new file, which is dashboard sample. And the first thing which we need to do is, see, there are different techniques followed by different people. What I usually do is I usually fill it with something, let's say like this. And after this is done, I don't want the cell values A, B, C, D. I don't want it. So what I will do is I'll quickly go to page layout, and then I will uncheck the view, the headings view, and my headings are gone. Now, on top of this, what I will do is I will insert a shape. Let's say I'll give a rectangular shape to my dashboard. Okay. Let me just drag it to the, okay, done. Done. This should be enough. Let me just, okay, this should be enough. Let's just use this and create a dashboard. Create a dashboard. So here I will be changing this. I will keep it as gray. Let it be. If you want, you can fill some colors as per your wish. Let's use a lightweight. Let's use this one. Okay, simple. After your Dashboard is created, the basic dashboard, the basic layout, basic shape has been created. Now what I need to do is I need to insert some other shapes as well. So I will be inserting some of these shapes like this. Let's say what I'm thinking in mind is I will have my title here. I'll have some of my slicers in this area, and here I will have some visualizations. So let me just copy paste these things. Let's just make a small dashboard. We'll not make a very big dashboard like this. Okay, we'll do like this. See, it's all about your presentation skills on how you want to create it. So I will just format it, format shape. I'll go to solid fill, but I will just change the color. Let's say I'll give it give a darker shade color. Same with this one, same with this one, same with this one. Simple. Done. Now if you want to change your border line, you can change it as well. Let's say you don't want to give a border line. I mean, I want to give a white border line. This is a hit and trial, and this is up to you, up to your skills, whatever you want to do. Now this is a basic layout which has been created. I think should be okay. Okay, now this is done. Now what I will do is, okay, okay, this is done. Now what I will do is I'll start doing something. Let's say I want exam with marks in this one. I will insert my chart, and let's say this is what, okay, let's try to add some changes. Exam one, oh, I don't want this one. This is not good. So what I will do is, let's say, okay, let's try to create a pivot table, try to recommend a table. Some obtained marks. Okay, let's do this one. And based on this one, if we want to insert a recommended chart, let's say like this. So this is my total marks. Now, total marks. Okay, what I will have is exam name in my legend, exam one and exam two. Okay, so exam name can be one of the slicers. So let's create a slicer, analyze and insert a slicer, exam name as a slicer. So here I will copy it and go to dashboard and paste it. Okay, so I have created a small slicer based on exam name. Simply, I will do it for other concepts. Let's say I want to edit it, slicer settings. Okay, let's just delete it, no problem. Remove exam name, analyze, insert slicer. What else do we have? We'll also have student name. Student name as a slicer. Let's say slicer settings. Position and layout. I think everything is fine. Okay, everything is fine. So what I will do is I will simply cut it and then place it in my dashboard. So similarly, I can do it for other items as well. Let me just increase the fonts. Okay. Similarly, what else can we add? Maybe status. Yeah, student name is done. Validation. We don't have much information in this two sheets. So as much information as possible, I'm trying to use it. So let's say I'll also add a slicer for my subjects. Okay. And then I will copy it and paste it here. Exam name. Okay, let's just change it to this. Should be okay. Okay, let's have it here. Something like this. Okay, and my slicers are done, and then I can start inserting a text as well. In case you want text box, so I will be adding a student tracker. Okay, and I will change my font size to 40, make it bold, whatever you want to, fill it with some colors. Okay, so let's fill it with, okay, which color we have used? Second one. So here also we'll use the second one. Okay, now this is done. I will also change the line as no line. Okay, now everything is done. Student tracker and my dashboards is almost ready, is almost set. Initial dashboard, all this information, and here the only thing left out is going to be adding some charts. So let's say we'll start adding charts. Let's say we'll start with this one. I will just copy it and paste it here. I'm just doing it for one chart so that I just want to show you how things work. Now, once this is done, it does not look good. So I will just edit the background color and then go to fill, no fill. Okay. Border line also, I don't need it. So nothing is required. And this is what a chart looks like. If you want to select exam one, student name, okay, all these things, right? So these are the different things, and of course you will have to place other charts as well, and this is how you create a dashboard. Of course, creating a dashboard and beautifying it can take more than 3 hours, 4 hours as well, right? It all depends upon your creativity level, on how to give some effects, adding colors, changing colors, and all those things. Now let me show you one of my dashboards which I have created. I took a lot of time to create this, trust me, and it is very difficult for me to start talking about it from scratch. So this is my dashboard. As you can see, a lot of things are there. Of course, in the back end, it's a shape that I have used, white color, and then inside these shapes, I have used different other shapes as well. If you don't think, you can see these are the format shapes, right? So these are some shapes, and inside these shapes, I have given these filters like this, like this. All these are my filters, my slicers, and these are some of my dashboards, like some of my charts. So this is one of the dashboard which we have created, student performance tracker. Of course, this will be a deliverable as part of this course, and I will make sure these files are available to you so that you can practice it by yourself. That's it for this particular video. I hope you understood and got a basic idea about how to get started with the dashboarding. Thank you. Hi, today's video is all about some other things to do in Excel. I hope everybody has known about how to implement the DAX functions, how to do statistical analysis, conditional formatting, custom formatting, creating dashboards. So majorly 90% of the tasks are over so far. In this video, we will be talking about some of the other things that can be possible in Excel. These are some of the small items, like very minute or bite-size items, but I'm going to explain about all these things in this particular video. So first of all, we'll start with the error checking part. Now, what is error checking? Error checking is basically whenever you are dealing with an Excel sheet, there might be certain areas where your formulas are not working, or else your formulas are throwing some error. Or for example, you are looking out for a lookup table and somebody has messed up with the lookup table, so your formula is throwing you an error. So in these kind of scenarios, it's always advisable to turn on your error checking part. How to turn on your error checking? You should always go to File, go to Options, go to Formulas, and in the formulas, you can see there is an option called as error checking, and then just enable it. By default, most of the cases it is enabled. And let's say I want to indicate errors using this color and click on OK. Simple. So that let's say tomorrow, or let's say you have some errors and you will be able to find some errors in, you can see there is a red symbol here, right? And you will be able to identify the errors like this. And of course, I'm taking an example of just 20 records, but just think when you are dealing with thousands of records, it's very difficult for us to identify the errors. So error checking is one of the good options to do. What else? The next part is going to be showing formulas. Now, I'll go to my Excel sheet. I'll just delete this. Now, let's say I'm going to create some formulas. Let's say I'll create salary divided by balance. I'm going to create a new column, and this is nothing but salary divided by my balance. And I will just fill all the records, and this is how my data looks like. Now, let's say you are dealing with these kind of scenarios, or you have just opened an Excel sheet. You want to see wherever you have some formulas, I should see the formulas clearly. Like, of course, if you click on here, you will be able to see this formula. If you click on here, if you click on here, you will be able to see this formula here. But there is always an option called as selecting, seeing the formulas. So go to your page layout, go to your formulas and then show formulas. Once I click on this, you can see my Excel sheet has expanded based on the formulas, and you can see for age bins, I'm able to see the formulas directly. And if you turn off, you get back to the original things. And this is how it works. This is nothing but a division formula. This is nothing but a if else clause. So show formulas is one of the most important things as well, which you might have to deal with. There are some concepts like text to columns. Now, again, we will take another example here, a simple example. Let's say I have name, and my name is Satyajit Pattnaik, Ravi Kishan, Shalini Gupta, and so on. I have just defined 3 values. Now, if you want to change this to columns, now what we need to do is we need to go to the data tab and then text to columns. So go to data, go to text to columns. If you hover your mouse, you will be able to see split a single column of text into multiple columns. Now, this is where your splitting columns concept work comes into picture. Let's say you have your full name. You want to divide your first name and last name into 2 different columns. Then you can easily do it. And how can we do it? We have a space separator, right? My first name and my last name is separated by a space. So what I will do is I'll do text to columns. Now it is asking for delimited, fixed width, what it is. So next, now it is asking for a delimiter. By default, it is able to identify it as tab or space. I will be selecting space, and then I'll click on next, and then I'll click on finish. And you can see my names are splitted. Of course, my column name is not splitted, but I can just edit it. Simple. So this is also one of the concepts which you might be using, because this is one of the operations which we usually do as well. Now, as I told you, this video is all about some other things which can be possible in Excel. So we are just talking about these things. Now we will be talking about data validation. What is data validation? Again, you can see a tab here inside your data validation. So what is the data validation? Pick from a list of rules to limit the type of data that can be entered in a cell. So if I click on this, you can see I'll be able to see some of the data validation techniques, my input message settings. So various things can be done here. You want to validate your data, then you can make use of your data validation techniques. Sort and filter, again, very widely used feature. So you can simply select your header, go to home and click on filter. Once that is done, that means each and every column is now acting as a filter. And then you can easily select, let's say you want to see only this data, or else you want to see all the data. All these things are possible. And let's say you want to sort smallest to largest, or else you want to sort based on the estimated salary, smallest to largest. And this is how it works. And you can see how dynamic the nature of the data is. Once I have sorted it, all the values are getting sorted. Because if it doesn't work that way, our life would have been hell, right? So this is one thing. Let me just give a borders here so that the table does not look bad. And this is how it looks like, right? What are the other things to do? Wrap text. What is wrap text? A very simple feature. Let's say you have item description, or else customer description, or else customer street address. Okay, this column makes more sense in this example. Let's say flat 3, house E something, housing board colony. This was one of my previous places where I used to stay, Odisha, India. Okay, something like that. Now, what is wrap text? As you can see, the column values are like going beyond your cell values. So you click on your column name, click on home, and then click on wrap text. Now your text has been wrapped. It's one of the same feature like we used to do in Notepad, right? Hello. Let's say I'm just doing like this, and then word wrap, right? If you deselect it, that means it is showing in one single row. And if you do word wrap, that means the word is getting wrapped. Similar concept is here, wrap text. Okay. Apart from that, merge cells and insert comments. So how to merge cells? Let's say I want to merge this column. I want to merge this column. I'll go to home, and then I'll go to merge and center. Oh, my bad. So let's say I want to merge this one, merge and center. And you can see for a single column, it's working perfectly fine, merge and center. And let's say I'm working on two different columns, merge cells. Merging cells only keeps the upper left cell value and discards the, okay. So that is the reason it is returning only the first value. But you can see merge and center basically works like to beautify your columns, beautify your values. Let's say you have a very big number, or else if you have a very big surname and you want to make it center aligned, you can easily go to home and make it merge and center. And if you want to do it for all, you can simply do it for all by formatting the painter, right? So these are some of the things to talk about. What if tools is another topic which we will be discussing in the next class. Like this, whatever I have told in this video, there are many other things to explore as well. I would recommend you that nobody will be able to teach you everything in just 5 to 6 hours, right? But whatever has been covered so far in this course, that will definitely be taking you from the 1% level, the 1% knowledge base, to a 90% knowledge base. And then rest 10% is all about practicing and exploring each and every option. Now there are so many random options available as well. You can see page layout, insert, how to insert a table, how to insert an image, all these things. So there are so many options in Excel. I would definitely recommend you to go through and learn and try each one of them. That's how you will be able to understand the different concepts of Excel. That's it for this video. I hope you understood some other things to do. And in the next video, we'll be talking about what if analysis. And we might also talk about some of the VBA and macros concepts as well in the future videos. Thank you. Hi. Excel has a very fascinating feature which is called as what if tools. We'll be learning about what if tools and what are the different options in what if tools in this video. So let's get started. Now, what if tools is basically the process of changing the values in cells to see how the changes will affect the outcome of a future. For example, there are three kinds of what if analysis tools in Excel. They are scenarios, scenario manager. Scenarios and scenario manager are the first one. Second one is goal seek. And the third one is data tables. Scenarios and data tables take sets of input values and determine possible results. And goal seek is basically a goal seeking operation. Just imagine, just imagine one scenario where you are a student and you are attending a examination or you are attending college. Now colleges have different semesters: semester 1, semester 2, 3, 4, and then there could be some practical classes, there could be some capstone projects, and based on that you get your final percentage or final grading systems, right? So let's say you got, let's say you have 5 exams and you already got 4 exam results. Now if you're calculating the average or calculating the formula, and what score do you need in your final exam to get a score of 90% as a overall results? So this is basically a goal seeking opportunity. So let's jump into the practicals, and it will be better so that I can explain better. Apart from these things, we'll also be talking about scenario manager, and then we'll be talking about data tables. So I have this I have this Excel sheet. So here I have some set of students. Let me just so there are some set of students. I'll just format a little bit so that it is readable properly. And students, and I have semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, and the final capstone project. And then the overall score. Let's say we'll note it as overall score. Okay. If the entire score is like the average of the 5 scores, then it is pretty simple. But let's try to complicate it. Okay, let's try to do it a simple average. So I will be calculating the average of this entire score. I'm also selecting capstone, and of course I hope everybody knows that average ignores null values, so doesn't really matter. Similarly, I will drag this so that my all the formulas are set. So for each student we have the overall score so far, right? And we don't know the capstone score so far. Let's say capstone score is pending from my HOD, my head of department, right? What capstone score should I need to get an overall score of 90? That's what the question which is in my mind right now. Now, I am candidate 1 and I have an overall score of 87.75 right now. What score should I score in my capstone project so that my total average will be 90? That's the question I'm asking to myself. Now, in that case, what we can do is we can go to data, we can go to what if analysis. What if analysis is basically try out various values for the formulas in your sheet using scenario manager, goal seek, and data tables. We'll start with goal seek. So I'll click on goal seek. Here, when I'm clicking on goal seek, there are multiple inputs that is being asked. One is set cell, one is to value, and one is by changing cell. So I will set my cell G3 as my overall score. To value, I will ask, I need an overall score of at least 90, or else let's say I want an overall score of at least 85. So what should be my final capstone score? By changing which cell? By changing F3. So I'm setting this goal to what value? To 85. That means my capstone should be somewhere between 80 or 85. So my capstone should be having certain value. At least overall score should be 85. Simple. It's a very simple concept. My set cell is G3, to value 85, and by changing cell F3. That means I want an overall score of at least 85. So what should be my capstone project score? That's my question. Now I'll click on OK. By default, it is calculating, and then it has found that if you score at least 74, then your overall score will be 85. Similarly, if you want to change it to this one, to value 90. By changing F3, click on OK, and it is calculating, and then it has found a value that your capstone project should be 99. That means it should be 100, right? It should be at least 99 to get you an overall score of 90. Similarly, let's say for RAM, I will be selecting this one. What if analysis goal seek to value. Let's say Ram does not have much expectations. He is happy with the overall score of 75. By changing what? By changing this one. So I'll click on OK. Now calculation is going on. So RAM needs a minimum score of 83. Okay. This is what a goal seek operation is in terms of what if analysis. Let's say I will fill these values to some random values 90. I'll keep everything as 90. Okay, simple. Everybody gets a unique score which is 90. Everybody's overall score is now changed, right? Now we'll look at the other operation, the second option in what if analysis, which is scenario manager. What is scenario manager? Create different groups of values or scenarios and switch between them. That means you can create some scenarios. So let me just delete these scenarios. These are some of the scenarios which I had created. Now, what is scenario manager? That means what if my score in semester 4 would have been 100? What will be the value in that scenario? That means you are testing multiple scenarios. Of course, if you ask me, what will be my overall score if my semester 4 results were 100? If I do this, my overall score is impacted as well. Well, this is an option, but as we are using what if analysis, that means we are testing multiple scenarios. So I will select scenario manager. I will click on add and I will select my scenario name as something. Let's say semester 4 100, or else let's not change any semester results because semester results are not up to us. Let's say capstone 100. What if everybody gets a score of 100? Changing cells. Okay, I'll keep it like this and okay, changing cells. I will be this one. I'll pick F3. I'll click on OK and enter the values for each of the changing cell. I'll click it as 100. Just okay, let me just create it and then create some other capstone 50. Changing cell, same F3. Okay, and I want a value of 50. So I have created two scenarios. That means I want to test what if my capstone score is 100, what will be my overall score? Now with a score of 90, my overall score is 88.2. Keep a note of it. Now my overall score is 88.2. Now what if my capstone score is 100? If I click on show, it will change it. Click on show. Now my score will be 90.5, 90.2. What if my capstone score is 50? Let's say I just mess up something in the capstone project. What if my capstone score is 50, which is one of the worst case scenarios? In that case also my overall score is 80.2. So these are something, that means these are some of the scenarios where you can actually test. So these are some of the concepts of what if analysis. There are many more concepts related to what if analysis, and the complexity will hamper based on data. This is just a sample data which I have shown you. But again, what if analysis is just for testing purposes. It's not a mandatory thing to learn for the data analytics point of view, but as this is a feature of Excel, I just wanted you to learn and know about these concepts. So that's all about what if analysis. And in the next classes, we will be coming up with some other videos. Thank you.